Yeah, so my game plan today, let me talk you through a quick little kind of war action plan, is to really take the framework, okay, of the absolute winner conversion mechanism of hook, story, offer, hook, story, invitation, right? Hook, story, call to action into LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a funnel and most people don't realize it, right? So let me do a couple of little tweaks here because I want to try and get you a lot of the links, um, but let's not focus on it too extensively because I will get you a toolkit. And then, no, Marie, next week we are going to do an integration protocol where we bring all of these things and help you kind of uh, integrate all of that. So we are the people. No, and then there is another one, and there's another one. We're always figuring out a way that we can get you more and build you more on these things. So the LinkedIn component I really have is to basically take you from like this digital wallflower and try and convert you into an algorithm assassin. Okay, that's my lift for today. I want to really bring you the gift of LinkedIn. I am. This sounds a little arrogant, but I got to turn some of these volumes down here. One second, I got feedback here. Um, I'm actually very good at LinkedIn because I don't use it extensively. I don't uh, practice everything that I preach on myself. I haven't updated my LinkedIn profile for God, must be. Let me just exit out of this guy here. That's what's killing the noise. There we go. I got my backup machine running. Um, my own funnels are so full that I've just neglected them. So just because my own LinkedIn isn't perfect, uh, I do build things for people that convert billions of dollars. So trust me when I say I'm actually really good at this stuff. I just haven't been very good at fixing my own stuff lately. But here's what I'm going to do this week. Everything you learned today, I'm going to implement this week into my own LinkedIn profile. So we're all working on it together, okay? Because sometimes it's easy to lecture people and not so easy to actually do this stuff, all right? So the framework for today, as I said, is the hook, story, offer, but surprise, surprise, a football field. So we're going to lay the football field over your LinkedIn profile, right? And the way I want you to think about it, I want you to do something a little uncomfortable right now. And no, it's not that kind of uncomfortable. But if you've got a iPad or a separate computer or a phone next to you or something like that, open your own LinkedIn profile for a second and just take a very different look at it. And remember, I'm not going to shame anybody here today because mine isn't perfect either. I've got a whole bunch of stupid stuff that shouldn't be on LinkedIn. There is no like, I'm better than you type thing. I just want you to take a look at your LinkedIn profile, right? And let me know once you've got it up and running. Um, all right. Like, have a look at it. Does it make you want to hire you? Does it make you want to do business with you? Does it make you, would you invest in that person? Would you be magnetically attracted to work with them? So the question is like, if your answer isn't hell yes, then you're in the right place, okay? Because you're leaving money on the table literally every single day. But the beautiful part of it is in the next 2 hours, literally, I'm going to transform you from digital wallflower into a client attraction weapon. Okay. It really is pretty quick. This is the fastest way you can implement everything that you've learned in the last few weeks. And it's free, or basically free, okay? So this isn't just all about tips and tricks, and there's a lot of that, but a lot of that is really about identity transformation, okay, through using technology. We're not just optimizing a profile, we're essentially architecting your 24/7 capital client tribe attraction system that can work whilst you sleep, okay? So the number one thing that you want to try and do is, if you know how to do it, I am running on multiple computers here, is first of all your LinkedIn profile, your URL. So mine, okay, goes like this. If you can, post yours in there, unless it's going to mess you up completely. If that is not your name followed after the /LinkedIn, okay, you've got cardinal sin number one. Okay, so drop yours in there if you can. It will make my follow-up much easier. Yep, Dave Elliott, you know the immediate thing to fix in that. And Tamiraz has dropped the link in. It's not. I gotta now go look at that. Tamiraz looks like this. Okay. So Tamiraz also has work to do, right? So that is number one. And the quickest place to go fix it is when you're on your profile, where that little pen is next to your profile, you can go fix your personalize your URL. So what I would say today is keep a little notepad handy of just little things that you, as reminders to fix tomorrow. Because if you're going to stop and try and fix them all today, you might just get and you might lose the whole battle. I am already got 8 minutes behind schedule, and I always like to start a good presentation with listen very carefully because I'm going to say this only once. Okay, but I'm probably going to say it more than once. But today we're literally covering 8 battle stations. So I've divided the day into 8 different battle stations. And if you miss one of them, you the whole system collapses because they actually all build on each other, okay? So number one is identity warfare, okay? I want to take you through why LinkedIn is your most valuable digital asset right now. I'm going to take you through one of my favorite guys on LinkedIn, Ruben Hassid, who's in Tel Aviv, by the way, getting his socks blown off. But he is attracting 200 million people a year, okay? And he's done it really, really quickly. And we're going to use him. I have a long research piece on him that I did. I really took all of his machinery apart and I went very deep in it. And I will give you that as a takeaway. But we want to integrate Laura Louise's genius move of the authentic character flywheel meets LinkedIn. All right, so that's number one. Then number two is the hook weaponry. That'll take about 20 minutes where we're going to build your banner as your identity billboard, right? And the headlines that literally hypnotize and the company page, multiplication hacks, all of that. My section number 3 is the story architecture, okay? Football field psychology into the about section, into your content, AI content domination with Claude, and something that I teach quite frequently, which is called the sacrificial post strategy. And that will all make sense later. Number 4, dark funnel mastery. Okay, this sounds like evil sorcery, but I'm a big believer in dark funnels because people don't necessarily only follow you on LinkedIn. Okay, you have to be omnipresent because your brand needs to follow you through X, through Facebook, through YouTube, through wherever, okay? Preferably don't integrate it with Tinder and Grindr and those kind of things, I mean. But, wherever your tribe hangs out, you need to show up in the same kind of brand, but slightly differently. Then number 5, We'll get into some AI acceleration tools. They are beyond the scope of today, but we'll get into a couple of quick hacks that can help you. Number 6, tribe building, really attracting your right fit client through content, right? Building the trust into the machine before tactics, and obviously being very focused on how your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And then number 7, we're going to do an implementation blitz, okay? So before I get distracting myself, I want to quickly tell you what pisses me off, okay? Because you're sitting on a gold mine. You really are sitting on a gold mine. And I've stalked all of you guys, okay? Now, some of you, I've had a little more reach and an engagement, so therefore I've kind of pestered you along the way, and some of you have been to my Crushing It on LinkedIn programs and all that kind of stuff. So, kind of Dave Elliott is now out of the sandbox. He's producing content regularly. He's out there. He's bringing the stuff, and some of you shall remain nameless are still using it like an 1980s resume, right? But the number one thing that you got to realize right away is that your LinkedIn profile gets indexed by Google, which means it gets indexed by every AI engine on the planet, okay? It shows up right away in the top thing of when you search your name, okay? So if you want to test it real quickly, open an incognito tab, right? I can do it for you. I got many computers down here. I just don't know the mouse. So if I get a keyboard over here, Google myself, and I want you to do that in an incognito tab, just type in your first name and your last name into Google. My number one thing that shows up. How many computers are here? Let's see. Number 4. There we go. My number one thing that shows up is LinkedIn, Anrik Blood, Crushing It VIP, then YouTube, then Instagram, then X, then something about me, then YouTube, then Facebook, then a whole bunch of pictures, latest posts, more LinkedIn stuff, right? So if you want to really control what the world sees about you, LinkedIn, YouTube are absolutely key. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, because if you've got nothing there, nothing's going to show up. But it's the fastest way to get what you want people to see about you out into the public domain. Okay? So today we want to try and create that. Okay? But it's also the first impression for, I'm telling you, 90% of your prospects. Okay? And if you're playing small or you're not playing at all, playing safe, playing boring, this is going to hurt you. So I would really take this very seriously, because LinkedIn is being indexed by Google all the time. And everybody who looks you up is gonna find this. But now all the different AI search engines, they search the web. They use all of that indexing. So you're not going to show up anywhere, or somebody's going to say something stupid about you on the internet, and their thing is going to go post 1, post 2, post 3, post 4, post 5, because you've got nothing else there. Okay. So I would say that is takeaway for number 2 for you guys today, is to really just come up with that strategy, and we'll help you. So I'll tell you why I chose Ruben Hassid. Never met the guy, but he literally started from zero. He reached 200 million people in 2 years. He's built 10,000 plus customer businesses, and he uses a AI and a systematic approach. His approach is actually very good, and we can learn from him. He didn't just get lucky, he really got very strategic. And I'm going to give you his blueprint, because I've reversed engineered it, and it's very good, right? So the next step that you can quickly find is to look at your social selling index. Admittedly, it's a little kind of funky, because it's trying to sell you LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Okay, but it does teach you a bit in there quickly. So tell me your score. Put your score in there after hitting that link. How do you find it? You just hit that link. Click that link in the chat. Sorry. Da-da-da-dum. Not there. You're not there. Okay, because if you click on that link and you're logged into LinkedIn, it will give you your social selling index. 37. It's not live. Yeah, then if you're not live on that, I'm trying to see Bart's.
That's super handy.
Um, I'm waiting for Bart to throw his number in there. 53 out of 100. Okay, because he's quite a techie actually. So anyway, so mine has gone down massively because I stopped playing by their rules. I also got banned several times, and mine is now at 85, down from 96. And it basically gives you a score, because your kind of normal reach, right, in there is affected by a couple of pillars, right? Obviously, one is to establish your personal brand. That's really all your digital stuff. That's your profile. Finding the right people, that's the purple one. Most people score low on that because that's what they're trying to sell you. They're trying to sell you the sales navigator in that side. You know what I mean? But I basically got 25 out of 25 on all the others, right? So the way that this kind of works on your authentic character flywheel, right, from Mastery Protocol 1, those three rings of identity that you have, the best thing you can do is weaponize those on LinkedIn. Okay, so your outer ring can become your content topics, your passions, your things that did light you up. Okay, they become your content pillars. So if you think about later, especially once we start using AI for some of these things, those main content pillars, right, can become the subjects that you post about Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, whichever days, right? Yeah, those are basically the subject lines if you think about it. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not focusing on the chat too much.
I'm watching the chat, Henrik.
The
I've got it.
cool. The middle ring is 1 second. The middle ring is your profile optimization. That's where your values essentially filter into your about section. Okay, your mission becomes your headline, and your character that has been born out of all those scars and all those things becomes your brand. And then the inner ring of your identity becomes your magnet. Your transformation becomes their possibility. Your authority that you've created becomes their solution. This is how you integrate this thing. This is why we said to you right in Mastery Protocol 1, you will use this authentic character flywheel like non-stop right through absolutely everything, right? And before I forget, I didn't put this in my notes for today, but I just don't want to forget your company pages. Okay, this is a super cool hack, and remind me to show you on Friday if you don't know how to do it. You can create a company page for every aspect of your business. If you have a product, if you have a book, if you have a certain initiative, the Advanced Edge system can become a company page because it's another free landing page. Make sense? Any major project that you've done, like let me pick on Dave Elliott, his buyers and his sellers, those should go to company pages. LinkedIn is not a resume. Is anybody here that wants to get hired that's applying for jobs? Okay, I see no hands. So let's not treat this thing like your recruitment tool. It's a personal landing page. It's a personal branding page. It's an identity document that's super, super state. Yeah, I mean? So from that point of view, you can literally create a a company page for every product or a specific geographic focus, right? Any kind of initiative, any events, any masterclasses, because every page gets its own algorithmic boost. And you can tag the page in a post. Then people click on it, and that is an internal link for LinkedIn, not an external link. You don't send people off LinkedIn unless you want to kill your reach, okay? But like this, by creating a company page for your book or your event or your thing or your whatever, you can just literally, as you're creating a post, go at Advantage, boom, people click on it, they see all the posts relative to that, right? You can also do that with hashtags, and I will take you through the hashtag strategy later, okay? But literally by creating these company pages, you've literally just 10x'd your reach without 10xing your effort. So this would be a really great tool for Laura Louise, who has specific, super focused research and initiatives that are not kind of mainstream known by people. Or if you're having a challenge or you're doing some kind of a major event, create a company page, get the graphics up and running. Nowadays, it's so super easy. So I want to talk to you quickly about the algorithm, because we all have two customers on LinkedIn: your right fit client, right? And the algorithm. Okay. So you've got to be a little bit of a prostitute at times and realize that you're selling to two people. Okay. It's like having two dogs. Okay. Have you ever tried giving one of them a biscuit? The other one gets pissed off, right? So, yeah. So you've got to think about it like this. I mean, there's all sorts of statistics that you find of how many people are on LinkedIn, but there's about 830 million active members, right? But only 150,000 are active creators. That's 0.02%. Daily, there's 134 million daily active users competing for attention. Your profile, as I mentioned, is indexed by Google. It's a 24/7 landing page. And don't forget that almost 60% of all traffic is mobile. So you've got to optimize accordingly. And more than half the browser traffic is Apple. So if you're only looking at your stuff on a Windows computer, I think you're making a mistake. So that's a nice thing to do as a ritual. If you have an Apple computer, see what it looks like. There are all sorts of engines that can do that for you, right? So that part is important. So looking at the hook, right? Hook, story, offer. That's our framework for today. So the weaponry of the hook is you've got to think about your banner. Okay, and I'm going to open one up. Let's do it. I'll just pick mine because to show you that I am not beyond reproach, as long as I can just find the right mouse here. It's such an occupational hazard in this room here. Okay, so that's basically me. What we're talking about is this banner up here. Okay, as you can see, that's out of date. The last time I updated it was for the last Crushing It. But your banner, the size of that, by the way, can be very easily created on Canva. It's the #1 billboard, okay? It is your prime real estate, and 95% of people waste it, okay? It's not a decoration. It is the declaration. It is the first piece of branding that people are going to see. So the technical size of that is actually quite, let me just drop this for you in here. Anybody use Canva for graphics here? Okay, I gotta find a better way. It's so hard to pull things out of my notes into the chat. Okay, there we go. The size of it is super important. You get the size wrong and it messes up. But I actually have a link for you that I can do. Lois, do me a favor. It's all the way in the bottom. Oh, no, I got it. Don't worry. I'll get there faster. Um, you literally just go to Canva and you punch this in. Ooh, hit copy and go in there. Man, this multitasking. Okay. Wrong keyboard again. Okay. So you just go to literally type in the search bar on the top, LinkedIn banner templates. Gives you a bunch of really gorgeous templates, okay? Because that can really run with your whole brand identity, all of that stuff in it, okay? So I would really much go in there because remember, this is when we talk above the fold, this part, okay, is the only thing that people see at first. If they don't see anything in this window here that is worthy of scrolling or clicking, nothing's going to happen. Now, I'm obviously looking at my own, and I could probably be more useful if I find somebody else here, okay? So let's take on my friend Ruben, okay? So his banner is actually changing all the time. He looks exactly like this. And that pink is in his branding everywhere he goes. His tagline, Master AI before it masters you, is one of the shortest taglines I've seen, but it's really good. I designed one for a friend and client of mine that I've told you about before, which was, I think, a piece of genius, making men over 50 harder to kill. Okay? And I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on that because the examples of where you can basically go is that you want to, in that tagline, hit people pretty hard and pretty quickly into that. Okay, there we go. Helping founders scale to 8 figures, 47 exits, DM scale, blah, 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 to such and such. Some kind of call to action. So think about it, the hook, story, offer as a little kind of framework modification where you now go, who do you help, plus transformation, plus proof, plus call to action, okay? That's the ideal version of that, okay? And I've got a stack of examples if you want them, and I will put those into the toolkit. But for now, I just want you to understand the concept of it, because remember, you have to keep reminding yourself, you are not here to get a job. You are not here as a resume, right? So the tagline, which Ruben has, master AI before it masters you, you can basically follow this kind of, any of these kind of principles. You're trying to push your hook, story, offer into action by giving the hook. So this is the hook. So that picture that you see up above, the banner plus the tagline is the hook that creates, you want to grab people and get their eyeballs and get their finger on the mouse, okay? And the first 60 characters are the most critical. So if you write a bunch of long wada, yada, yada in there, it will die. Less is more. 60 characters is basically what people see, because as you're browsing, okay, let's pick up a couple more. Here, we see we were looking up this guy the other day. This is super boring. Chief Operating and Financial Officer. He's just wasted all of that, and he's wasted that, and he's got no banner, and he's got a crappy profile picture. Make sense? Total waste of time. So I've got actually, let me see, what's the quickest way to get it for you? 1 second. So I am massively multitasking here today, and I'm going to give you, a Google Doc with some of my favorite kind of people who've they have a different style, right? So if you're looking for inspiration, grab that document. There are a lot of different ways that you can do it. So now let's get away from a bad profile. I just had a meeting with this guy. You can see, like, as soon as you have a meeting, that's what people does. Yeah, I mean, you immediately go look up people. So this is above the fold. So what I mean by above the fold, which keyboard is that? It's happening over here. And let me see. Oh, so many. Okay, I'm just moving this in here. So what I mean above the fold, this is what your eye sees. Okay, see that part light. So if there's nothing in here that inspires you to click more or to keep scrolling, you're not going to do it. Because the next stop where people go is your about section, okay? And the about section is actually worth writing, even though I'm a little embarrassed by mine. The about section is where you insert your football field, right? And now if you remember the football field formula, very easy. Zone A, validate. That's the first 125 characters where you go, like you, I struggled with such and such. Zone B, connect. After falling down, such and such, I discovered. Zone C is where you start positioning. This led to me, such and such. Today, I have helped such and such. Then we go into zone D, into the dark zone. But here's what nobody tells you. Then we go into zone E, pre-qualify. That is why I only work with 1, 2, 3. Or that is why you should only hire A, B, C. You see what I mean? And then zone F, red zone. If you're ready, here is your next step. People love to be guided. They hate to be manipulated, right? So just think of the football field again, right? Look at that training again and go, okay. I mean, by now you really should never, ever forget it. And you don't need to look at the training again, because I think you've got the idea. 0 to 40, get the heads nodding. Like you, I struggled with this and this and this and this. Zone B, after falling down, after my divorce, after my this, after my realization, I discovered that, dot, dot, dot. Zone C, start positioning. This led me to, today, I've helped X, Y, Z. Into zone D, dark zone. But here is what nobody tells you. I will tell you. Zone E, pre-qualify. That's why I only work with A, B, C. You see what I mean? Zone F, if you're ready, here's your next step. Put it into your about section. Now here's the beautiful thing. That about me section is public and it's cross-indexed by Google. So your keywords, that is search engine optimization 101. Your keywords, even hashtags you can drop in there, will be searched by Google. And when people Google you, that will show up, okay? Now this is what you can use Claude for, by the way. I have a little hack for you guys, because I realized that it kind of got a little confusing when I did it, but this is worth remembering, the little thing I just dropped in the chat, okay? That is a quick little cheat sheet if you're wondering about what AI to use for what and who is best at it. Now, admittedly, these things come and go, and there's a bit of a race to the top at the moment with these guys. So hence I have a date on it, because you can realize that sometimes Gemini is better, sometimes ChatGPT is better, but the winner, hands down, when it comes to writing is Claude, okay? And I'm going to share a couple of prompts with you. If you were in the cafe the other day, I did a lot of really good prompts of those. But you can literally take a prompt like this. Let me put it into here for you. There we go. Let me copy that. Yeah, I should really shortcut this process and write myself a prompt to do this easier. but you can literally drop this into Claude. You cut and paste your 10 favorite prompts, paste them in there and say, okay, analyze these 10 posts of mine, extract my writing patterns, my signature phrases, my emotional triggers, my story structures, and create a voice profile for future content. You just saved yourself months of writing, because now you can just do keywords on your phone and then push it through your voice profile so that it writes it in your voice. Okay. I did share the other day and I'm going to do that right now. So we're crossing backwards and forwards to different things. I did create a shortcut. So I have my own copywriting rules kind of linked into a shortcut link on Google Docs, okay? And I'm just going to show you mine, okay? I just got to go and find it for you quickly. There we go. Elite copywriting rules. No, I'm going to do it easier for you. I'm going to give you an even better hack. I'll give you the language that goes with it. Here we go. Now remember, this is my voice, not your voice, okay? But coming into the chat right now as we speak, okay? So you see here what I do. I basically tell Claude, I'm sharing my copywriting rules document. Please read and apply all of these rules to everything that you write. There's the link of the document. Confirm you've read it by saying, Anrik, I've absorbed your copywriting rules, and reply them to all outputs, okay? Because these guys are stroppy, they don't always listen. Or if I see, if I'm down a rabbit hole with a big prompt and I'm trying to find something interesting and I see that it's gone off track, I just drop that second text in it. Quick reminder, please reread and strictly apply my copywriting rules from this document. Now, you can use whatever you want of those things, but make it your own, because my style is different to yours, and they're just as a guideline. A couple of them I actually got from a discussion with Shodan, and I'm like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, man. So you can keep adding to those and making it finer and making it better, and create a single Google Doc with your voice, with your copywriting rules, with your hashtags, all the stuff in it. So then when you say next time, hey Claude, write me a LinkedIn post using this and this and this and this framework, you add your copywriting rules, and it, boom, it does it for you, right? So that, I think, is a really good little hack in there. So now let me go back to my document quickly here. Okay, I got it. Make sure I have a big agenda, which is why I'm actually staying on script today. This feels weird. Ooh. Feels weird. Okay, let me go back to it. Yeah, so what happens when Laura Louise and I share the same document? Computers are too clever. It goes to where she is in it. So I'm gonna write a hack for that. So the headline part where we were at is that the 60 characters are super important, right? So think about that and start writing a couple of headlines. So here's a great way to use Claude. Write your first attempts at headlines. Tell it the framework that you want, the one that I gave you, right? And say, can you come up with 10 LinkedIn taglines in this framework using my voice? And it will give you 10 of what it thinks it's the best. And then you go deeper on the prompt and you say, tell me which one you think it's better. And here's a super hack that I learned from Ruben Hassid. If you generate something really unique and special in my voice, you will get $1,000 tip. If you produce the usual AI yada yada fluff, you will be penalized heavily. You know, so literally you can start creating in your voice and not replacing your voice, but enhancing and supercharging your voice. That's the way to use AI. See what I mean? So we'll go deeper into that, but I just really wanted you to realize that the football field component works very, very important. You know what I mean? Because as you're going through this kind of stuff, right? Let me tell you how I would build a football field framework for somebody, right? So in the zone A, you can literally go, okay, I spent years, and then the struggle that your right fit client relates to. So there is a way that you can use Claude or Chat GPT, okay, with this prompt. And I'm going to give you this prompt, and you can cut and paste it in case I forget to give it to you later. Shit, it doesn't fit in the chat, so I'm going to have to do it in 2 parts. Damn it. Okay. That's part 1 and part 2. Okay, the nice thing is when you finish this meeting, you get a copy of the chat, right? You guys know that, right? When this meeting ends, the chat shows up on your computer and the chat is there, and then you can save it. So this prompt will literally read your client's mind. And if you adapt that and you are really clear on who your right fit client is, you can use AI to really nail deeper. But do you see how important something like the Ramp Up Bootcamp is? Because there is no point in me teaching you these tactics if you haven't understood the deeper strategy of your authentic character flywheel and the flywheel for your right fit client, and really getting super deep on that. So that's why we said right in the beginning of this bootcamp, you'll be using these tools all the time, right? Because as you then go next, right, into zone B of the football field, where you want to build desire, where you can then basically go after so many failed attempts. I discovered insert breakthrough here. That takes you naturally into zone C, because as people are reading it, they, ooh, tell me more. You see what I mean? And this led to massive results, credibility. Today, I've helped so many people achieve insert transformation. And then you immediately segue from that to your zone D. But here's what nobody tells you about the such and such industry. And that's where you insert the shocking truth that changes everything. And then straight into zone E, pre-qualify. Put a little bit of selection pressure. That's why I only work with specific types of clients, who 1, 2, and 3. Because as they're reading it, they're already self-classifying. They already, instead of you selling and pitching, they're already basically going, oh, am I one of those? We can't help it. We all do it. I even know the science behind it, and I do it. Right? And then zone F, red zone, natural next step. If you're ready to transformation, here's your next step. And that is a specific call to action with 0 friction. So for some people, that is book a call. I hate that. But for some people, depending on your type of business, that works. For some people, it's a post. And that's why I want to get into my sacrificial post strategy real quickly. It's kind of like in the middle of the agenda here, but I want you to understand it real quick, because I have this fear, like you worry about what keeps me up at night. I woke up at 2:30 this morning. Shit, I'm going to forget to tell them this. It's pathetic, I know. I need a life, but this stuff is important for me, okay? Boy, this iPad's going to run out of blank pages. So the idea is, when we have your typical funnel structure, right? We got 3 football fields. Draw those real quickly. Draw those real quickly. So you got call to action leads to that one. That call to action leads to that one, right? Everybody with me on that one? We don't need to go through that. But now LinkedIn, right? You've got your framework of hook, story, call to action. Now the hook we can create actually quite easy, right? Because we've got a couple of places. We got the tagline and we got the banner. I'm in the way. We got the tagline and the banner and your profile picture in a little way, because like Laura Louise's profile picture works great. I would like click on that all day long. You know what I mean? Me, not so much, but I have to be more interesting. So then if you think of your story, okay, in your story, you've got lots of different ways, because now here you've got your featured posts, your about section, and after that, your content. So that's your story component. Your call to action, right, is the link that's above your head. The call to action in every post, and your featured posts. So your featured posts should, if you're being a good boy or girl, should be 1 or 2, maximum 3 posts. There are some people who have 100, there are some people who have 1. That works the best, because that is your funnel entrance, right? So with that being said, let me open one up. Let me pick mine because it's bad and it needs help. And view profile, let's go to Anrik. Okay, here we go. So you see on this page how they right away are call to action pieces here. There's crushingit.vip. Okay, so that's what I mean by you create a company page for your event, for your thing. Your banner, that should be a call to action there. This one is kind of, I would give this banner a 6 out of 10. I'm going to go fix it before the week is done. Then over here, I have my OnlyFans link. Okay, now that's cheeky. That's very cheeky because that's me. Laura Louise would never do that, but that takes me to my testimonials page. Okay, then this can kind of be done better in the framework that I teach. This is old, but it kind of sets the scene in the whole thing. So now you got to look at I have a very well built out services section. A lot of people don't do that, but your featured posts, that should be 2, maximum 3. Those are the funnel entrances. And this is where you can create a sacrificial post, which I can probably explain better in writing. Okay. So step 1, you basically create a post where you can go make all the mistakes. You're not concerned about this post going viral. You're not concerned about this post being perfect. You're basically thinking of this as a landing page, because you're going to link to this post from other posts and other places. You can also take this to a little deeper by sticking a video in here, putting some details in, and the call to action can actually go to one of 2 places: another post or a LinkedIn article. Now, in the other post, you can go further details, but you've got size constraints in it. In the article, you can add videos into that, you can put graphics into that, you can put all sorts of things, you can put highlights, you can put links, you can put whatever you want in the article. So that's what I mean by the sacrificial post. You don't create the post with the intention of going viral, being super successful, all that kind of stuff. You're creating that post to create a funnel entrance to the top of your funnel. What do you want people to see? Because that is where you need a good graphic on that, right? So these of mine, are they great? Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger so we're not squinting our eyes on this. There we go. And we'll go to that one. So right away, people are going to go to these featured posts. And then if they're still scrolling, they will go down to your content. But it's so hard for people to find your post. There you got to go show all posts, you know what I mean? And then you got to go scroll down to it, and you got to go look at it, and blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? So my posts are very spontaneous. They're essentially creating honeypots all day long. But if you think about yours, that aeroplane is very distracting. Um, part of me is I'm not using LinkedIn perfectly because it's an engagement communication tool for me. It's kind of like the Anrik Blatt show. I get more out of it than just clients. I communicate, I talk, I connect, I attract my tribe, I piss off my wrong fit clients. Then I have to go back the next day and occasionally delete a post, mostly at Laura Louise's prompting. You know what I mean? So mine is not perfect, but I've built other ones that are very, very good because these sections, especially the featured posts, hook, story, offer. At the bottom of every post that you have should be the same kind of text with, I help so-and-so achieve such and such so that they can get more such and such. With your call to action, where do you want to take them? If you're taking them to a LinkedIn post, the LinkedIn algorithm does not penalize you. If you're taking them to the outside, to, Omni Media or whatever, or whichever, company, that post's going nowhere. Because LinkedIn wants to keep you on LinkedIn just as Facebook wants to keep you on Facebook and YouTube wants to keep you on YouTube. So anything that's taking people off platform, immediate, killing of it, right? So the idea basically is that, yes, you can use AI tools, but it will get penalized. There's a super interesting hack, by the way. You want to know it? Show you this real quickly. So any post that you create on using AI is going to be branded AI. See that CR up in the top corner there of the picture? See that top one? That is basically these computers now starting to talk to each other, saying this image was created by AI, which they obviously were. Okay, so I just created those to show my little origin behind it. But there are, let me try and find you another one. This one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have it either, even though I created this on ChatGPT. Those are real. Those are real. Hey, there's Bart. There you go. There you can see it again. You see the little CR in the top corner? The LinkedIn algorithm immediately kills that for you. So if you want to cheat and get around it, you just take a screenshot of your AI generated image and then post the screenshot. Eventually they'll figure that out too, but that's a quick way. I personally enjoy beating the system. It's kind of part of my personality, right? So anyway, I've got a couple of more scripts for you, which I will also include in the toolkit, right? But the idea behind it is that you have created your voice, right? And I got to copy it from here. Sorry, that does take a little bit of time, and it's a little distracting. But like this one, using my voice profile, right, which we created before, create a LinkedIn post about topic from your flywheel, please, not some random stuff, that hooks in the first 125 characters, tells a personal story, provides tactical value, ends with a soft CTA, uses my signature style, sounds like me, not AI. I would normally add my copywriting prompt onto that because my copywriting prompt has been refined from basically, I write a lot of content, but I write really badly. I write the way I speak. I mean, Laura Louise will tell you, I have run-on sentences that can go on for like literally a week. They're terrible. And then I used words wrong. I keep saying words like deepest, darkest Africa. People don't like that. I say things like, I call women homely. I have also asked the same woman twice at the same cocktail party whether she's pregnant when the baby's due, and she was not pregnant. So anyway, I am a bit of a jerk in that sense, but the way that you can use a something that you've already written is with a prompt like this. Bottom, go back in the dropping box there. Where you've written something and you go, okay, make this more provocative in the hook, more specific in the examples, make it more emotional, make it more actionable, make it more natural. You see what I mean? So you're taking what you've written and you're now enhancing it. I mean, these work really, really well in Claude, okay? But the thing that I want you to think about when you're writing, okay, is not 80-20, but 70-20-10. I'm going to put this on my iPad to make it sense, right? This is your zone A stuff. The 70% of all your content should be zone A stuff, okay? This is really educational stuff, inspirational things, non-salesy type things, right? So if I look at Ruben Hassid's content, right, it's literally they're basically how-to posts with exact steps, tool reviews with screenshots, frameworks that people can implement today, case studies with real numbers, okay? This is super important, and this should be 70% of your content. The other 20% here, I call this the personal zone, okay? Because people do business with people. And that content is about kind of your behind the scenes struggles, your lessons from failures, your transformation stories, also your controversial takes. Okay? Because remember, beige is not a color. Fitting in is for sardines. This is where you stand out and you show up as you. And then that 10% can be promotional. If you get those balances wrong, people just ignore you very, very easy. So that 10% is like zone F content. Soft call to actions, inside valuable content, client success stories, invitation to go deeper, not invitation to invest, okay? Not invitations to buy. Go deeper, community building. Because remember, the whole thing is validate first, add value first, pitch last. So you can use all sorts of different tactics and tools on LinkedIn. Some people really love polls. And at times, the LinkedIn algorithm really rewards polls. So if I look at the data that came out of the last 12-month data, and we did that until April, all right? So it's April to April. Polls were plus 450% in reach versus standard text. Documents were plus 250% reach. Multi-images, 150% extra reach. Native video, and I don't mean going native in your videos, but native videos. That's where you take your phone, you record a video, and you hit upload. So it's not through some fancy, sharing tools, all that kind of native video. 5 times the reach than a pre-programmed, scheduled video from somewhere else. External links, minus 50% immediately. And articles, which I use, minus 90% in reach. So LinkedIn has decided we're not pushing articles right now. We're pushing other stuff. LinkedIn started creating vertical videos to compete with TikTok and Facebook Reels and all that kind of stuff. So that's why they push that. So these algorithms are changing all the time. But I use articles like they're my pimping machine, because I can write a long piece. LinkedIn is going to send it out for me. I got, 2,000-3,000 subscribers on that. They're actually going to send it out. I can do all the bad stuff in the article. I can put YouTube videos in there. I can put graphics in there. I've even figured out how to do cool animated GIFs in there. I can do bolds, headlines. I can send you a link. I can do whatever I want in the article. And then I have a sacrificial post that goes from there to there. Let me see if I can find one quickly to illustrate. Give me 2 seconds. Ba-da-da-dum-bum-bum. Okay. Henrik Blatt. Let's go see. It would be nice if All right, 1 second. I'm gonna go find it. Hold with me for a couple of seconds, okay? We're gonna try and go find it. Okay, I think I got one. I think I got one. No, I don't have one. I got a couple of naughty posts that I'm not proud of. But I was just trying to find one for you. Okay. It's got to be a better way to, you see, like it's like I'm an expert user and it is really hard to find content. Never mind your own content, but other people's content. Okay, here we go. You'll see it right here. And let me do my screen share. You'll see it right here in the, and I'm going to make this bigger, don't worry. I'm going to make this bigger because, okay. So here it is. So here's a post that is a sacrificial post. In the hook story offer, interested to more, leave a funny comment, and then you go from there into the next thing. So this is me basically creating a sacrificial post that goes to a LinkedIn article. That LinkedIn article does all the bad stuff in here. I've got graphics in that. Hey, guess what? I have a mini landing page of my Crushing It event in there. You see what I mean? So I did really naughty things that you're not supposed to do in social media posts. I have a whole landing page in there. And all right, I overdid it on this one. This one's going way too long. And guess what? Down there, 3-day event to 10x your business. Guess where you're going? Crushing It sign up. Right? So do you see how I'm using, let's go back quickly. I'm using a sacrificial post to go to an article. This is the article. 3,733 subscribers. And there is a LinkedIn article, a post that goes, links to the article, then has further links in there, goes to other things. So that's what I mean by the sacrificial post. You create a post for the sole reason of using it as a funnel entrance. So let me talk to you real quick about a couple of things to remember. That your optimal post on LinkedIn has like 1,200 to 2,000 characters, but the sweet spot sits at around 1,400. If you go too brief, there's not much to index in there. If you go too long, nobody will read it. So the idea is to always assume that people are only going to read the top third of a post. So pretend you're writing a letter. Hook right in the beginning, segue straight into the story where people are going, ooh, tell me more. Yeah, I mean, hashtags. There are people who do hashtag murder. 3 to 5 hashtags maximum. Okay. That is the important part, and make one of them your topic of discussion, whatever that may be. One of them can be your brand. I have by hashtag UnricB in it with my little AB emoji behind it, almost on every post when I remember, because I don't write my posts using AI. You know, what that does, the hashtag makes it super easy for somebody to see all of your content instantaneously. Because you saw earlier, just me trying to find my post, how very hard it is to actually find your content. But let's say you write on 3 or 4 different things, right? And you want to have a quick hyperlink available for your content. Guess what? You can actually use that hyperlink to link from your email auto signature. If you keep writing on LNG, hashtag LNG by Tamiraz, yeah, I mean, come up with a cool hashtag. It's if whatever your business you're in, think about these hashtags really, really quick, really cleverly. Let me see if I can give you some hashtags. The algorithm has changed. Years ago, I used to advise people to really focus on the big hashtags that people follow. But I've noticed that LinkedIn is kind of like killing that process from a search engine point of view. But hashtags can work very well for you. So let me go find these real quickly. Okay, so I call them big ass hashtags, and I'm going to drop them in the chat for you. Okay, coming through now. Oh, as usual, I keep forgetting of LinkedIn. I mean, there's the limits on the chat. Dude, is so annoying. Okay, I'm going to put this in a Google Doc for you and give you the Google Doc. That will be more useful because then you can refer to it at a different thing. So give me 2 seconds. Da-dum. All right, no, forget it. I'm going to put this in the I'm just going to cut and paste a couple of them, and put this in the toolkit. This is too hard because Zoom chat has a limit of 1,000 characters. So if you look at a couple of these, right? So you look at like innovation, management, creativity. These are bland, generic hashtags, right? With a lot of followers. And the algorithm hack that used to exist in like big ass hashtags, I mean, you can't use them to boost your content, but you can boost them. Here we go. You see, like here's a couple. I mean, there's a lot of followers in these types of things, right? So and some of the old schools and some of the LinkedIn courses, they keep telling you to use these hashtags, but everything I've seen in the last year ignores these hashtags, and you use hashtags as a power tool to get your people to your content. So let me illustrate that, for example. So if I was working with Tamiraz on his hashtags, right, I would say, okay, Tamiraz, let's find 3 or 4 hashtags about your industry. LNG, shipping, right, if that's the 2. That goes in every post. And then something that he does that's special as the 3rd one, buy, and then his personal hashtag. Because then his personal hashtag he can use in almost every post and link it to his content and drive people from email to LinkedIn, from LinkedIn to email, and so on, and bring them back in and out here. So let me grab a couple here and do some more multitasking. Okay, let's go do a search. Keyboard, this one. See, I love that hashtag crushing it, but there are so many people who are using it for like random things, right? So this is now, but it's a good example of it, of thinking about it that isn't perfect, because there are other people using the hashtag crushing it, not just me. But there is one by Laura Louise, right? Hashtag crushing it.
Yeah, I use life and business on your terms, and I use Magnum Opus Builder.
Yeah.
Those are some new ones I started using.
Yeah, but it's so that's why I say, be careful what you choose. It's obviously great if you're the only one using that hashtag. That is a really nice way to link to all your content. Yeah, Gary V, he did start that whole nonsense, yeah, with the hashtags, you're absolutely right. So let me try and find you another one quickly. hashtag UnrigB. Very quick way to link to your content. You see that? You're not necessarily going to control exactly what they see, but it's a very quick way
because
that
there are so many people
get your content out there and have it in there, because everything that shows up under hashtag UnrigB, and I remember this is years old, right? This is a year old. That's 4 years old. Basically posts, but then you can go past week. Hashtag UnrigB. See, so it creates a super shortcut to content that you want people to see. So that's how you use hashtags. Okay, so let's go into video content real quickly. Video right now, LinkedIn is putting a lot of effort into getting people to do video, okay? Video generally, in my experience, gets you 5 times more engagement. So who is afraid of being on camera? Let's see who owns that. Okay, 1 person. Everybody else, 2 people, 3 people. Okay, video is super cool, by the way. I'll tell you why, because it's just a natural way that people can connect with you, and the people that don't like you, well, they're just never going to like you, right? So, and if your style on video like annoys them, well, do it right up front in the cheap seats up front, right? So, but there are very cool tools these days that I wish I had when I first started out on this, right? Because like the app called Descript, that basically allows you to edit your video like text. It removes all the ums and ahs and the pauses, all that kind of stuff. I love CapCut. CapCut is on every one of my programs. I drag the video in there, I can cut it, I can splice it, I can paste it. It's super easy. You can do animations, you can change the audio, you can speed up the video, all sorts of things. Veed.io is another really good tool that does the captions for you. It will do the cover, the thumbnail covers for you. It's just a super easy way. There's other tools like Opus Clip, where you can take a long video and it will basically give you 10 short clips automatically. Go next level, Synthesia. Basically create an AI avatar when you can't be on camera for a month. That's $45 a month. You can use Riverside, which is a streaming service, or for those of you who have a Magnum Nexus portal, like a cafe, you can create a podcast recording studio and literally go straight in there, hit record, and it's recording it in HD for you, right? And then you can just hit download and edit to the whole thing, right? So there are lots and lots of tools. I will drop those into the toolkit too, so that you can click from there. You don't need to explore it. For me, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Veed.io. I think that's a very good video tool. I like it a lot. CapCut as a free tool is outstanding. It beats Camtasia and all of these types of things. But the video formula is kind of, back to the hook story offer. Hook in the first 3 seconds. Like one of you, I advised you on doing a public speech the other day, right? Most people who come out to do a public speech, who get on stage, have this long introduction. No, walk in, control the frame instantly, bring the hook. You can tell them later who you are. See what I mean? Hook in the first 3 seconds. If you're doing something on video, don't be like Anrik Blatt and bring 20 different things. 1 idea per video, 90 seconds max. I think my videos are going to be 90 seconds. I look down, 6 minutes and 45 seconds. I clearly suck at that. Captions, super important, because most people watch video with the sound off. And then if they see something they like, then they'll watch it again and put the sound on it, right? And anything you do on video on LinkedIn, native upload only. Every time I pre-schedule a video and upload it, I get 10% of the views. Whereas native videos just go, even crap videos get loaded. So I've been requested for a quick little 5-minute break. Let's do that. Let's grab a coffee. Anrik Blatt needs coffee because I want to get into the engagement warfare and the dark funnels. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where you're going to have really, really big things. Yeah, I mean, all right. So let's do a very, very quick 5-minute break. Grab a coffee, guys. Bring a notebook and come back. Okay. dokie. Okie dokie. Smoking. Back in the land. Okay, microphones. Oh, coffee, so good. Okay. By the way, Dave, just nod if you can still hear me, if you're on the phone. No, I don't know if Dave can hear me. He's on the phone. Quick question, Dave Elliott, can you hear me? No, I know Bart can hear me, but I was trying to get Dave's attention, but he's got his headphones on, so he might be on a call or something. Let me text him.
I didn't realize Wills was for sale.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's on a phone call. All right, let me. So for anyone who's listening, you can pretty much duplicate most of these strategies on the other social media platforms too. But I would start with LinkedIn because it creates this very thorough digital footprint for you that you can, from there, you can cut and paste to the other platforms. It's also the number one place. If anyone is checking you out, that's where they go. It's kind of like Facebook is like for the clickbait and the amateurs and attracting people and for funnels and all that kind of stuff. But when people are checking you out, they check you out on LinkedIn. Now, admittedly, depending on who your audience is, like if you go like Tony Robbins, his audience is on Facebook. I mean, 80% women with credit cards, and almost 90% every time I'm in a room, it's all ladies that are bettering themselves, improving themselves, stepping up, pulling out their credit card, going deeper on something. That's where his audience is. I mean, the Sage Leap TVE audience, Facebook, Instagram. Those guys don't even have a LinkedIn profile, and they don't go on there for years. But serious players, LinkedIn, I would do it, and then from there go and replicate and change the language slightly to move to Facebook and all those kind of things. All right, so everyone is almost back. I have a terrific technique and a little system that I call the shake, rattle, and roll method. So the shake, rattle, and roll is basically a 3-step version of engagement, because the engagement tool is the secret weapon to LinkedIn. If you don't have some kind of strategy and some kind of daily budget, or at a minimum weekly budget for engagement on LinkedIn, you're using the platform to about 5% of its reach. Okay, so the engagement machine that I built, called Shake, Rattle, and Roll, is really a bit of a secret weapon. I'm almost reluctant to share it, but it does work. It's 15 minutes a day, 3 times the algorithm boost, right? Remember, my strategy is somewhat different to a lot of strategies. I don't need 10,000 followers. I don't need 20,000 followers, 50,000 followers, millions of followers, okay? My LinkedIn pipeline, my DMs are full of people, right? In that sense, I'm not selling some simple thing. Obviously, by the time we get around to launching our book and stuff, it's kind of different, but you got to think about it. Who has your audience? So just think about this today. This is a really worthy thing to think about, and you think about who already has your audience on LinkedIn. And that's why module 2, Right Fit Client, is so super important. You can find basically 10 people who are authorities. Some people call them influencers, call them authorities in that space. And then all you do is bookmark their activity feeds, okay? And I can show you how to get that real quickly. I'm going to open up. Let's grab it from this guy again here, and we'll grab Ruben again as an example. I'll switch to the screen. So here's Ruben Hasid, right? So all I basically I go down here and click on posts or comments. But posts is the easiest. And then you hit this button that says show all posts. So this hyperlink up here, okay, is what you bookmark. Does that make sense to you guys? You find 10 people who have your audience and you put these links in it. So I'm hitting a blank, Laura Louise, because I don't have it installed in the studio here. I have it on my computer upstairs. That little Google Chrome plugin that we use for all of the open tabs, is it called OneTab, right? OneTab.
OneTab, yeah.
Yeah. So you literally go and open up all of these pages, right? Go open up the 10 tabs of these people, all with that thing. And then I don't have it on this computer, but I can put it in quickly. There is a Chrome. No, it's called OneTab, sorry. There's a Chrome plugin called OneTab. Come on. Clearbit Connect. No, that's something else. All right. Lola, remind me that I put this into the toolkit too. So the OneTab extension, okay, is a super little thing. Okay, there we go. It was inactive. It allows you to very quickly add all of the open tabs, but I got to now restart Chrome and stuff like that. Yeah, God, I should have done this in advance for you guys. Okay, so this OneTab extension allows you to create a grouping of those 10 people and save it. Star this tab group, name this tab group. You see what I mean? So now you've got a little tab group of those 10 people, which you can then add to your bookmarks bar, okay? So remind me if you're interested on that. I will come back on at our Friday's workshop and show you how to do that, because you just create that into your morning social media rhythm, and you schedule 15 minutes for it. No more, 15 minutes, that's it. And you do that before you post. So you decide, number one, how often you're going to post, okay? I am the daily posting guy. If I don't post something every day, I feel like I'm cheating on LinkedIn. I feel I'm cheating my people. I should be doing that. There are some people that are the Monday, Wednesday, Saturday posts. There are some people that are just the Saturday posters. And then there are the people who are the never posters, right? Don't be one of those. But decide and commit to how often you're going to post, step one. Step two, decide what time, okay? Because there are sweet spots on timing. I have to post in the mornings because over half of my audience is in Europe. So therefore, I want to get them when they're at their table, at their computer. It also makes life so much easier because you become predictable. And you can see when those people post. But if you are active, engaging for 15 minutes before your post comes out, you will literally get 300 times the engagement than if you're just posting randomly. The science of this is absolutely there. So now you go, okay, what kind of engagement? Obviously, you want to engage with your own post, but if you think of these 10, that's why I call it a shake, rattle, and roll, right? So you identify your targets. You find 10 authorities in your space who have a lot of followers, right? They have your audience. You bookmark their activity feeds, you set the notifications for their post, and you study what they do, and you go in the comments. And you don't write stupid stuff like nice post. It's got to be more than 5 words for the algorithm to recognize you, number one. But you want to add value because guess what? They have your audience. And if they have your audience, well, guess what? You want to not come across as a dumbass. You want to be a smart guy who says smart things. The AI generated stuff I can see immediately and I block those people, right? But you want to be in those first 5 comments, right? You want to be adding value, not ass kissing. Real examples, real thoughts, real questions make their post better. Within a week or 2, you will find probably 4 or 5 of those 10 people start knowing you, start responding to you, start reacting, and voluntarily are giving you their audience. It's the best value for money 15 minutes that you can do. See what I mean? And if they respond, continue the conversation. Because if you're in the early, and if you know that this guy always posts, like the real serious guys, they always post at the same time every day. They even tell you in the bottom of the post, I post at 7:15, I post at whatever, right? Because their posts are pre-generated, auto-generated, and they are scheduled posts, which is another real hack, by the way. If you sit down on a Saturday morning and you write all your posts, you will create 7 days of posts in the time that it creates 2 posts normally, maybe 1 post, because somehow you light that portion of the brain up. You've now created a content system. I gladly talk to you about some of those ideas, because as you're going on through your day, you could create a Apple Notes or a Google Doc or wherever you store your ideas, a Notion folder for LinkedIn post ideas. When you see something cool, drag it across, drag it in there. When you see somebody else's inspirational post, drag it in there. When you see a super nice picture, that's great. Take a picture on your photo album in your iPhone. You can have a LinkedIn post album, drag it in there. You can even go on, by the way, Canva. Very few people realize this. Canva has a direct plugin to Unsplash and millions of royalty-free, high-quality photos there. You could just spend a morning, grab a coffee, and go, I'm going to go find a whole bunch of pictures. Yeah, man. And you drag them into these folders. You see something really cool, a nice little statement that defines kind of that talks to you. You know, like let's say you're a Stoic, and if the Stoic phrases appeal to you, you could make a whole collection of that, stick them in an album. Now you've got a library, a vault of stuff. When you have that plus your authentic character flywheel, you're done. You're gold. You're absolutely gold. You can do like what Bill did. He actually put his authentic character flywheel and his right fit client thing into an actual Word document. Guess what? You can put that into a Google Doc file and give it to Claude to as a storyboard. Because now you've got your content pillars, you've got who your right fit client is, you've got your copywriting rules, 3 documents, and then you go, I've got a super hack for you guys, by the way. It's a little advanced. You can actually now start using Claude or ChatGPT to generate content ideas for you, create a time calendar of 30 days worth of content, or 52 weeks of content at 3 times a day, and just run it all, create it all. You could do this all in a weekend if you wanted to. But the trick is the shake, rattle, and roll strategy, because you're selling to 2 people, your right fit client and the algorithm. The algorithm is the thing that's going to push your content forward, right? And there is this thing called the golden hour. LinkedIn denies it, but the shit that happens on a post in the first hour determines how successful it's going to be. And if there are notes, if there are comments in that, there are threaded, multi-nested comments in there, it is just going to push that post. If people are sharing it, people are engaging with it. And guess what? Some of those influencers, if they see you in their post regularly, they will see your post and their followers will see your post. And the really good ones, they will come back and re-engage with your post too. And that's how you build what Laura Louise calls the Magnum Nation. That's how you build your tribe. The 15 minutes a day, 3 times the algorithm boost. Easy. So it's worth doing it. I've tested this. Single post where I do nothing. Yeah, okay. Single post that I've uploaded where I've engaged 15 to 30 minutes in the chat on LinkedIn before my own post went out, double, triple, sometimes 5 times the reach. It's really, really massive, massive difference. So from a strategy point of view, I cannot dictate to you what you guys should be doing, but if I was launching a business and using these tools that you've learned here in the Ramp Up Bootcamp, this is how I would go execute, because LinkedIn is a free way for you to actually create funnels, create natural communication funnels, call to action. There's call links in there. You can book calls, you can do video, you can do content free of charge. Yes, you can. Let me get rid of this chair. Yes, you can use Go High Level to use auto posting. You can use Buffer. You can use Hootsuite. There are so many. One little trip down perplexity.ai to find you the best social media posting platforms will yield massive amounts of results. I personally, I'm very spontaneous. I'm also kind of like moody, not in a bad way, but like I go through these like outrageous moods, and then I go these super creative moods. I'm just a weird guy. I want my stuff to be authentic. So I personally feel unfulfilled by AI generated content. But last week I did an experiment. 100% of everything was done by AI. I was running an experiment, including a masterclass that was AI. Everything was, because I'm running the experiment. I will play with it, right? Now I will try it, but I like the dark funnel architecture, right? And by dark funnel, what I mean is that, the best way to do it is explain it by drawing it out. You see, most funnels kind of look like this. The whole point is you've got a top of funnel, you've got a middle of funnel, bottom, right? So top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. This is your typical funnel structure, where on top you're basically getting people to like some of your content, and then you engineer them the call to action to come and book a call, and then from there they go in and they have they come to your meeting and whatever, right? And it's very structured. It sometimes feels very manipulated. If you're in a Russell Brunson book funnel, trust me, you know that you're in that funnel. It's a work of genius, and it works very, very well. But serious people get a little frustrated, and they don't want to be so manipulated. It's like when people, you know what it feels like when you're interested in something and they send you a questionnaire to fill in. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I just want to know how much it is. I don't want to fill in 200 questions, right? It's too early, and it's like, so I kind of invented this thing, and it's called a dark funnel, and I'll try and illustrate it. If this is your top of funnel here, you create these honey pots of content, and you really only need 6 good ones, which hopefully overlap with your authentic character flywheel with all of those rings. But they really are about like public content whose sole purpose is to bring you into a private conversation, right? So they're kind of like awareness posts where the call to action, right, marked in red at the bottom of every single post. is either to go next door and look at another post, go next door, look at another post, or jump out of the funnel into your DMs, okay, where you go comment blueprint for my 7-figure framework. Create an write in PDF to get the PDF, whatever, something like that to basically start this kind of nurture sequence, right? But what happens when you've got good content, I'm going to use a different color, with spontaneous, personal content in there. Remember the 70, 20, 10 rule, right? We're really only talking about the 70, 20 in there, and you've got all sorts of interesting content in there. What happens? People start wandering around from one piece of content to the other, then another person comes in, and I'm purposefully screwing up my own drawing, because once you've got a couple of hundred people in there, that funnel becomes dark. You don't know where they came from. They haven't been manipulated to go to step 1, step 2, step 3. They have gone in and cruised around and looked at your content. Then they jumped into the Magnum Cafe. Then they jumped into the Capital Cafe. Then they came around. Then they looked at this. Then they engaged with Laura Louise on some of her content. Then they went backwards and forwards and so on. And I am really good at stealing other people's contacts, okay? Really good, because I know how to tag people. I know how to connect with people. I know how to introduce people. And you get this whole thing where, and after a couple of months, Laura Louise and I are asking ourselves a question here in the middle of the funnel. Have we ever met this person, like in person? And you go, I don't know, feels like it. And you've got to really think about whether you have actually physically met them, because the relationship has gotten so interesting and so diverse. And you have this natural thing. And that brings me on how some of you are yes, Laura Louise, go ahead.
I think it's kind of like this grassroots effort to attract eyeballs to your space, and you have to think about it like that. The honey pots, it's not really you're trying to get an outcome, you're trying to get attraction. It's a magnet, really.
Yeah, and I like it because it feels natural. It's actually how we humans actually work in real life. You have these multiple experiences, and then especially if you are omnipresent on multiple platforms, right? Because I will find sometimes people found me on LinkedIn, and then they wander over to YouTube. And remember, I don't even have a YouTube strategy. I think I've got like 9,000 followers, subscribers. I really use YouTube as a repository to post videos that I need to embed elsewhere, right? And sometimes cool stuff I like and whatever. I don't really have a big YouTube strategy myself, but then people will go there, and then they'll see something on X, and then they'll go back here, and then they'll go back. You don't know where they came from. And that's why I call that the dark funnel. And it's not this super structured sequencing thing. And I actually use it in, and you guys have been witness of it, right? So I call this the Magnum Nexus, right? And that is essentially our technology that we use to enable meetings like this, events like that. We build digital boardrooms, we build digital training rooms, we build cafes for people. And it's actually a really kind of cool way, because you might have something over here, something over here. I'll explain this in a second. I'll draw this out real quickly. As you can tell, I'm not very good at multitasking, so I got to kind of split it. And it's more of a circular funnel. And I'll explain it to you in a second, because you might have a lead magnet, right? Up here at point position number 1. You might have a book a call thing over here. You might have been at an event over here. You might have had a email footer that invited people in, and whatever. You've got lots of different entry points in your funnel. But you use the Magnum Nexus platform. I have one, you guys have been to it, it's called the Capital Cafe, right? We have another one called the Magnum Cafe. We have another one called the Bootlegger Cafe. These are different things for different audiences. And we have a couple that are very, very serious and, 10 people max, that's it, you know. But what happens is you have this kind of like circular funnel where some people come in, they book a meeting, they book a call, they go to another link, your social media comes in, they come to an event, and it's all in one platform. There are no funnel entrances. There are no usernames. There are no passwords. You don't need to sign up for this. You don't need to sign up for that. Hey, let's host a webinar. So we host a webinar. Hey, come over here. Let's watch a series of videos that I'm going to give you. Everybody comes into the Magnum Nexus, right? So that becomes this circular funnel. That for me has been the single biggest game changer in our business, because people have click fatigue. They're fed up of like, oh, now I need another username. Then I need two-factor authentication. Then I got to go to here. Then I got to go to there. Then you're in a webinar. Now we're going to sign up for this thing. Then we're going to go over there to school. Then from school we have to go to there. I personally am sick to death of it. I can't remember the passwords anymore, and they can't all be the name of your dog, right? So it kind of, gets kind of complicated, but it works really well with LinkedIn, because I got LinkedIn over here that every week sends me 30, 40 new people coming into my machine. Some of them are at a very, very early stage. Some of them want to book a call with me, and literally happily show you the DM. Some dude keeps wanting to book a call with me. I'm like, yeah, if you don't show up to my cafe, I don't show up to calls, basically, because I want that environment. I don't just want to get pitched, and I don't just want to be in a meeting where I have to do the pitching. Come to the cafe, come and hang out, meet my friends. If my friends don't like you, well, I don't like you, right? It's a little bit like that, because guess what? That's how we actually humans are. And I want you to take this mindset. Like, do your life, create your magic. But for God's sake, hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer, because it works. It really works when you have the strategy running through that. So I really want you to think about how you can use LinkedIn for that, because you can create this kind of funnel where it's not so orchestrated, it's not so formal. You got a bit of LinkedIn, you got a bit of Facebook, you got a bit of this, but you're bringing them to your weekly meeting, your weekly hangout, or something like that. You're bringing them into your sequence, right? You can then invite people to your video sales letter, or to your webinar, or to your whatever event, or to your PLF funnel, product launch formula, where you can say, hey, I'm going to send you 5 videos in a row that explain this whole type of thing. You know what I mean? So for example, like when it comes time to really launch Sovereign to users, right, to distributors, that's perfect for a PLF funnel, because you're going to give 10 minute like little mini master classes of how to do this, how to do that, how to do that. Now you stack them all together. Bam. Guess what you do next? Come to the portal, come to the meeting. We'll explain it more, right? So this is really how you can do this kind of stuff. So let me think, where do I want to go back? Because the idea behind the original funnel architecture, right? And now admittedly, I have messed up this whole thing, is that here at the top, you want to get really clear on who your right fit client is, okay? So this is going to be a black dude with a purple hat and a red dude with a black hat. Those are cool. But the purple people with red hats are not our cup of tea. Oversimplification, I know. If you've got multiple products, or like Andrew, he has multiple ways to kind of sell this thing. You can literally create 4 funnels that look very similar, that just have a slightly different entrance at the top, okay? And that slightly different entrance you can actually do on LinkedIn with the featured posts, 3 different featured posts. This channel for marina owners, this channel for boat owners, this channel for such and such, right? Dave Elliott should have 2 featured posts only. Buyers, sellers, go here. About section, philosophy, the idea behind how you discovered the elevated life, all that kind of stuff. Classic football field goes in the about section, right? Then you can start thinking of your content in that way, right? Because by creating content and engaging in other people's content, the algorithm pushes you out. Remember what I said right up front, 850 million people? Maybe 150,000 are actually generating content. If you're super clear on your niche and who it is that you're attracting, right? Yeah, can we use different products on LinkedIn? Yeah, totally. I mean, if I'm assuming the question right, but I think Friday is the way. But don't show up on Friday if you haven't done any of this, because you won't get the maximum out of it. You really want to be working on this during the week so that you come on Friday and you go, okay, all right, I built this. What do you think? Yeah, man. Then we can work on it a little bit, because at the end of the day, people don't buy from people they like. They actually buy from people they trust, and the trust is built with tactics, and that tactic is consistency. Best way is content, 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 content. Find your groove. Some people have made incredible progress with LinkedIn carousels, right? A LinkedIn carousel is essentially a square PDF that you can scroll through. That is their content. Some people are the video content. Some people are the black background with profile picture and a clever saying. You can find your groove. You can really find your way. Some people do the super long educational posts and so on. Me, as you know, I'm kind of like all over the place. I am dogs, lifestyle, client, capital attraction type stuff, with a lot of Laura Louise thrown in. I don't really have that many other interests. I mean, maybe some boating or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, anyway, I'll keep the jokes out for later. You want to think about the trust component of this, right? Now, you guys have actually been trained in all of this, and it runs through your LinkedIn stuff, because you want to show competence. Can you actually help people? You want to show character. Will you do what you say? You want to create connection. Do people feel understood? Consistency. Will you always be there? The consistency really helps. So if you cannot commit to doing this daily, do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, or Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And do the 15 minutes a day. That will help you, because as you're building your tribe, it's actually quite easy. You just go, all right, let's define our enemy. What are you fighting against? And you start talking about that, right? Then you create your language. Your language is unique to you. My language is unique to me, right? Laura Louise can tell right away whether I wrote that or whether Claude wrote that. Even though I've trained Claude to write like me, she sees right through it, right? Instantaneously. Design your rituals. I have these morning rituals. God, I'm out there, I've got my coffee, I've got my notebook. Sometimes I'll do a video in my bathrobe. Laura Louise is like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is me. I'll show up like that. If people don't like it, well, guess what? They're not going to like being in an event with me either, right? The stories is what binds you. The connection is really, really important, because your right fit client, they're not looking for another service provider. They're looking for that one person that gets them, that connects with them, and your content can do it. But if your profile sucks, it's all in waste. That's why I said, let's start with our profiles. It's a personal landing page, right? Because once you do that and your content talks about, like problem articulation, where you're like, okay, so you want to basically complete what they're thinking, right? And then future pacing it. So you can do all of these things, right? There are so many ideas, but your content is going to create this vibe, and your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So as you're doing this, please rewatch the expert positioning integration, because that will actually generate the language of your social media, that will generate the language of your writing. If you have positioned yourself as this like gladiator, your language is going to be that. And I think that's a really, really important one, right? So I want to get to a couple of more tactics that we can. I'm watching the time here a little bit, and there are many, many tools that you can get. I mean, there are some really great Chrome extensions. Okay, let me give you my favorite ones. I don't use all of them, but I kind of experiment with them, and I'll put them into the toolkit for you guys. So then you can you have something that runs through all of that. But there are incredible Chrome extensions, right? Apollo plus email. Boy, create all of it. There are so many different ways. The one thing that you must stay away from is any kind of content scraping tools or contact scraping tools. Let me rephrase that on LinkedIn. They will ban you very quickly. There are all sorts of tools and people probably in your DMs right now promising you leads, contacts, all that kind of stuff, and they scrape LinkedIn. And if LinkedIn catches you, they will literally delete your account, right? There are so many different ways. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good idea, Laura Louise. Why don't you unmute yourself and sell that idea?
Okay. Yeah, so what I would love, so that you guys have something actionable that's accomplished, is if we maybe did an exercise where we started to work on the LinkedIn banners so that you could actually have, the descriptions of what it is you want to be seen as, and we can work with you to make sure that you're on the right track. And then you can work on those maybe, till Friday, and then we can go further on Friday, because there's so many things just on the LinkedIn stuff alone, and just getting you guys up to speed and having, and everyone is in need of getting more visibility on their LinkedIn profile, right? There's not a lot, and I did go through most of yours to see, but some of the pictures don't even look like you anymore. Some people who, like, I get to see every week, I look at those and I'm like, that's not really identifying with who they seem like they really are. You want it to be as, and we update ours all the time. I mean, my picture was from like 4 weeks ago, so I always try. I hate when people have a picture that's like 20 years old or in a style that doesn't actually capture your authentic self, So really going through and taking that character flywheel and thinking, like, how do I want to be identified? And because that's how you want people to read when they read you, when they go to you, which they're going to anyway. Even if you have no presence right now, the second they meet you, they're going to go and check you out. So how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be portrayed? Is it showing off the fact that you are, an expert advisor in some area, or is it just basically saying what it's always said, which is more like a resume, such as like engineer or realtor or trader or whatever, strategist? It has to be more descriptive in terms of how, people are going to look and want to engage further with you. So I just think it would be so great if we could start at least tipping our toe in the water with some of these things, so that, because as you start doing it, you're going to have more questions. You're going to say, what about the descriptive? What about how I describe my experience? Or, because there's so many different places on the LinkedIn profile to fill in, your resume, which are the things that you've done in actual businesses. But then it's like about you, which tells you what you want them to remember, not necessarily your descriptive, basically paragraph centric resume, as opposed to the things you really want people to think about when they see your name and engage with, trigger them to want to work with you, want to see more about what you're doing. So it's got to be engaging, and it has to be a magnetic for your brand. So I just think might be a great idea. We've done this in the past with
Okay.
people, and we
So
can do that for like
yeah,
5 minutes, just starting with your tagline and how, how you're being seen on the first glance when people go and look at you. You guys
Yeah,
follow?
because a good example of that is I just dropped it in the chat, right? Just guys, just do me a favor, click on that.
Yeah.
This dude shall remain nameless. You have no idea who that is, right? Look at the background. Look at the pedigree of this dude in the chat. Look at the fascinating history and bio that's in there of those things, right? This guy clearly knows more about that industry than most people, because it's not just doing the same thing for 25 years, right? He's had all of this access to all of these different components of that industry. Makes for a very fascinating guy. But his profile picture is actually very professional. I'm like, wow, it's pretty cool, right? His banner is attractive. It's missing a LinkedIn tagline that's telling me who he serves, with what, so that they can get what, right? It's actually a pretty simple lift, and it needs 4 or 5 proposals, 4 or 5 samples. What's the word am I looking for? Give yourself write 5 different versions, and then test them and see how it goes. Because somebody who's just clicking, they are not gonna go deeper than above the fold. Banner, profile picture, tagline, that's gonna force them to go to featured post number 1 or featured post number 2. Some of the weird stalkers, they're gonna go to your about section, but your about section really helps the Google SEO because that's public. So I think this is a
And
really
also the
worthy
about.
exercise. Yeah.
I think also the about section, because you get to that before you get to, your experience.
Yeah.
And, you want people to read the about, because the experience only says so much, right? But the about really goes through, a lot of different things. And that's an opportunity to talk about how you want to be seen, how you want to be understood, how you want to drive people, how you think, what you do, and how you're that expert advisor, based on not only what you do now, but what led you to this moment.
And
So
please don't use pronouns unless you are selling into a community that massively needs pronouns in order to self-justify and figure out who they are. But most business people on LinkedIn, they think it's a total joke unless you're selling Subarus and stuff like that,
Right. On my that area where you get to write your pronouns, I wrote crushing it. But like a couple of weeks ago, I had magnum opus builder. Like use it for what you want. It's real estate. Use it for something powerful, as opposed to, me, your, you, his, her, whatever. It's stupid.
No,
Like nobody
really,
needs that kind
really,
of stupidity
really
in the business world.
no, really cut that out, and unless that's your demographic and it's super important for them. But you'll see even right here over my left shoulder, you'll see a silly post this morning creates this kind of engagement where I just had a silly post in there, literally like random post, and some guy needed this today, Andrik, simple, real, and a reminder to pause for a minute and appreciate. So this is a kind of a little thank you post, but what I'm doing is this is not manipulated or conscious. I am engaging with my audience. I'm teeing a ball up for them and putting a big driver right next to it and an ice cold beer, so that the people that don't really comment very much can walk up and take a swing at the ball. So it's a different kind of post than a business post. It's more of the kind of personality post. It's, Romeo and me having coffee, basically. Yeah, I mean. So you see how different kind of posts can achieve different things, because sometimes when I'm on a rip roarer, you will get like 6 invitations to an event for me, and people get sick of it really quickly. They zone you out. You're just talking about the same stupid, real estate deal or event or whatever the whole time. They just get so bored of it. I get bored of my own posts. That's probably why I create so much hooligan stuff. So, who wants to tackle their tagline right now? I mean, I've still got big deliverables today that I want to get through, but I thought we should take a quick little minute or two and look at your tagline. If you want me to look at yours real quickly, raise your hand digitally or otherwise, and I will go look at yours. Okay, Dave Elliott was the first. Let's go look at Dave's. And you will see now how difficult it is to find people's content. Dave Elliott, passionately helping you create your Swiss real estate solutions in Verbier and beyond. Okay, Lolo is going to give you instantaneous feedback on that.
Wait, I have to go to it because I can't see it from here. I thought I opened it. Let's see.
If I spotlight it, you can see it. I can even zoom in a little.
Hold on 1 sec.
There we go. Because you see, people don't go above the fold. They're going to look at your banner picture. They're going to look at your profile picture, and then they're going to look at this line before they make the next decision. So if I was Dave's advisor, instead of Omnia Immobilier here, I would have basically the landing page of where I want to take them.
Mm-hmm.
The company page, and then you need a personalized link here that takes them to the funnel. That absolutely has to go out of there, like totally out of there. And then we need 2 featured posts here that are buyers and sellers, but everything is going to be in those words.
And you can expand on that dramatically. To me, that's like a sentence, and I like more punchy. And I also think it's a little soft. It's not going to reach people in terms of the dynamic of how they want to reach out, how they want to call you. Like, passionately helping you create. We're looking for a passionate Swiss real estate solution. No, they're not. So I would say you've got to think about who they're looking for and how they want to call you out in that moment, right? And also, I mean, what I'm seeing in the real estate space globally now is that, and remember, I come from a real estate family, so it is always my first love. I love, looking at real estate, but what I'm seeing in everyone is that even though they work for a group, they're branding themselves. So they have their own brand and they have their own like signature thing that's on there. And realize it, because if someone just goes to the place that you work and let's say they call there, they could theoretically get any broker or any salesperson in there. So you want to make sure that they're calling you out on your brand. So my advice would be to create your Elevate brand here, the Elevate,
Okay.
Elevated Life brand right there.
Yeah. So I think really, guys, do me a favor. All of you put this on your to-do list for the next few days to just come up with 2 or 3 of them. I mean, if you want to on Friday, we can turn that into a bit of a workshop and go through a couple of those. But it's the little link that I gave you into the chat is a very great way to start, where you look at all of that. I'm going to drop that right back in there again. Mouse, help me. Yeah, I gotta. Google Docs, copy link. That's it. This is the one you want. If you did not grab that right in the beginning, there are 26 really good templates to use in that sense. But the idea that you basically want behind all of this is, I help right fit client transformation so that they can do more, or I help right fit client create their elevated, or using the elevated life method or something like that. You wanna anchor it right in there because it goes together with your banner picture, right? So the banner picture, I see what Dave is doing. It's kind of nice. It makes me want to sit on that balcony and have a little. I don't know what that wine is, but I'm sure it's not Swiss. Um, I mean, there is some nice Swiss wines. I am particular to the Fendant from the Valais. I do like that Fondant.
They think that their Dole Blanche is really good, but and you have to
Yeah,
suffer through it while you're having your Swiss
yeah,
clients give it to you every single lunch
yeah,
for, infinitum.
yeah,
But it's not that good.
yeah, yeah. No, that is he's looking at my old house there across the valley. Totally. I could probably, if it has greater detail in it, I could probably pick my house out of it. But the idea is he's trying to create a feeling. But let's create the banner picture, um, and actually tell people what it is, or at least make them curious about the elevated life, right? Let's get that. Then in that bottom corner there, you want to have a little arrow that goes down to the bell, right, to ring the bell, or his phone number if texting is his funnel entry. There are a lot of people that handle text really, really well, because that's their funnel entrance via text. And then go further down, have an actual link there, where they're. Let's go pick Laura Louise. Can we grab yours, Laura Louise? Do you have a link on yours yet? Laura Louise Blood. Okay. It's funny that there's no link there. Yeah, so we're going to try and get Laura Louise also to two featured posts. Her content is excellent. I just wish she would do more of it. It's really, really very good. So I think that's got to be really the takeaway for everybody to say, let me think, start creating banner and tagline. That really is the trifecta. Because I want to watch the time a little bit here, and keep going here quickly. Let me make sure I have not forgotten stuff. Because for today, I still have CRM integration and audio visual tools and tricks and things on the schedule for today. So with LinkedIn, I could keep going for a week on this, because it's a platform I really know well, and I've built for a lot of our clients and a lot of people. We have integrated it into their business. It's some serious bang for your buck. Anybody that you're meeting to, if I'm looking at any of you guys, if I'm talking to you guys on any of your what I know about your business, I'm going to check you out on LinkedIn. If your entire business is based on Facebook, I would treat this really lightly. I would spend a couple of hours here, get your profile up and running, get it done, get your funnel entrance going, and walk away. If your audience is not on LinkedIn here, then you're only selling for search engine optimization and somebody Googling you and somebody looking you up. The nice thing is some of your public posts can actually be indexed by Google and can be indexed by AI. So if you want to be a industry leader on something like that, and you've got some educational content that you can drop into that, it will make you an authority in that space very, very quickly. So let's get into CRM integration real quick. We know that Andrew uses Notion. In the chat, tell me quickly, what do you use, even if the word for that is nothing? ConvertKit and systems.io. Okay. Apimo. I don't know what that is. Go high level. Signed up but not implemented. Yeah, if you haven't used it yet and you consider switching to my guy Barton, because he'll actually support you and give you support. Guy's available by text. He'll jump on a call. He'll show you how to do stuff. He's very good at email and automation and stuff like that. So yeah, so the Tamiraz has just signed up for Go High Level using that link I gave you or not, or different one. Okay, so you want to check that out because I do everyone's Go High Level is basically the same. Some people throw in extra templates, all that kind of stuff. I find mostly that is kind of like nonsense. But you end up basically developing your own very, very quickly. So the level of support that you're getting is the important part. Because Go High Level in its raw format is a CRM in the middle with landing pages, funnel automation, workflow automation, communications, email, text, WhatsApp, WeChat, even automations with Instagram, Facebook webhooks, everything built in. It's basically this engine where for $97 a month, if all you needed to do is run your CRM, create your email campaigns, and run a couple of landing pages, it's still worth the money. I think it's quite brilliant. What I don't like about it is its ability to run membership crowds, to run a community. Like we have one. Have any of you guys ever been in there? Like Laura Louise doesn't even go in there, you know? I don't even go in there because it's not very user friendly, you know? Obviously we're delivering the recordings and the digital vault to you guys there, but I think it could be much better. Much better. I actually came over from Kajabi. I just got fed up of having like, all right, I've got Kajabi, then I've got to have ClickFunnels, then I've got to have an email account, then I've like 12 different services that were all duct taped together using Zapier. Just drove me nuts. So I'm like, you know, I can't deal with this crap anymore. So that's how I ended up there. But it does websites really well. Very fast, very quick, landing pages, embedded videos, email, texting, all that stuff, super, super easy to do, right? Yeah, once you sign up on Go High Level, they've got an entire academy of learning lessons, all that kind of stuff. There's a support ticket, and you just literally create that. You can create that in minutes. You know what I mean? That is, unfortunately, there's no other way around it. It's an affiliate link. So if anybody signs up with my link, I get like, I don't know, $20 out of you, which is cool, which will pay for more coffee. But that's not what I'm doing. If I could figure out an easy way to get it back to you, I would do it, but it's just too hard. it's really too hard. The reason why I bring it up here is because I can actually help you build your funnels on that. But I'm not going to force you to go and do that. I don't want to do that. I'm happy to do like a workshop on it to do it, but if you don't come with the, hey, I've built this, what do you think? Right? I can't help you with it. I don't want to be standing here kind of like lecturing on the whole thing, because the fastest way I think is Go High Level, but you can literally use MailChimp or anything like that to create your first front end funnel. So who wants me to go into this, or shall I move on to the next subject and come back to it? You're most welcome to raise your hand digitally. I can unmute you in the meantime.
Honor, they would like the link for your person at Go High Level, if you could put that in the chat.
Yeah, I gotta go find it. All right, I'm doing it. Using the wrong keyboard. Okay, I got you. I'm getting the hidden the link.
So I think the beauty of having, you know, something like a Go High Level is that you don't have to figure out every single step along the way by yourself. It does become overwhelming for, you know, people that don't have a team that's going to help them, or solopreneurs, and you just kind of want to move on past the intensity of spending so much time, you know, figuring out all these elements. And you know, the amount of assistance that, you know, this person who's running this group gives seems to be you know,
Yeah, no, he's
really.
good. His name is Marcus Wilson. He's got an afro this big, and he's got a super cute little kid. I've told him, bring your kid on the calls. I don't care. You know what I mean? Wonderful. And he's responsive. He reacts. He fixes the stuff. Every now and then, I want something like a little deeper. I'm like, hey, Marcus, I need a 2-hour deep dive with you. And I said, give me a bill for that. It's not included in the setup and all that kind of stuff. But if there's any kind of problem right away on the text. There's a text app just like ours. He comes back to you right away, and it's solved within a day or two. Their training that's available once you signed up is very good. Shows you all the basics: how to set up your email accounts, how to set up this, how to set up landing pages, all stuff. Most of the templates that come with it are standardized at Go High Level. Like there are templates for real estate landing pages, newsletters, this, that kind of stuff. Happy to demonstrate some, but it works pretty easy. Yeah, I know it's nuts. It's to me, it's just a no-brainer. We have fought with CRMs for so long, and this automation just really works. So you can keep it as simple as you want it. You can literally just create a one-page company website in it, put the call to action boxes in there, put the call to action to book your call, has a calendar in it. You don't need to sign up and pay for Calendly, right? Send it from there to the next. It's super cool. So I wanted to bring that up real quickly. I love, by the way, the native integration with the Magnum Nexus and the Obvio platform and Zoom and all of that stuff. Those are native APIs. So just like you get your magic link, you come into the thing, that's all sent by Go High Level, by the way. Including like when you first came to sign up for I think Andrew was the beneficiary of that. I forgot to turn the automation off, so it sent like 45 emails in an hour and sent you all of them. So yeah, so the Magnum Digital Vault is hosted there too. All native integration. It's not the nicest thing, but if you're gonna host some digital content somewhere, it's very efficient. It handles files up to 5 gigabytes in size. So a lot of the other platforms, like, oh, you've got to keep breaking it up into 30 different videos and so on. This is 5 gigabytes at a shot. I mean, that's pretty good. 5 gigabytes, by the way, is as long as I'm taking the recordings of these events straight out of Zoom, not from my switchers here, that gets you about a 3-hour video. Those tend to come out at about 5 gigabytes. So let us quickly get to section D on my shopping list today, which is audio visual stuff. Okay, because as I said in the opening, we all are doing this nowadays. We're all meeting on Zoom. We're all participating in events. Somewhere in your funnel should be a Zoom call or a digital event or something like that, right? And I think the really big takeaways on this are, if this is a technology focused workshop, is there are basically 3 or 4 basic components, right? Number one, audio is audio. Sound. You've heard me say this many times before. People, when they don't know you, are okay with like Marie's video there. That's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. What they will not forgive you is bad audio. If you're skipping, jumping, or you sound hollow, you sound garbled, you sound tinny, you sound like you're underwater, even a disconnect between your voice and the sound will distract people so badly that they cannot focus on what you're saying. So who needs better audio? Raise your hand, I'll tell you what to do. Oh, I can unhost, sorry, you can unmute yourself, at all. You can even test it right now if you want to, and go, "Hey, test us. What do you think of this audio?"
How about
I-
this?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Go.
She's letting you go first, Bart. Bart, go
Okay.
first.
Everything sound good on my end?
We'll talk a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your dog, your dogs. Tell me stuff.
Well, Bo and Matilda are my wife. Bo is 5 weeks younger than Matilda. She's half the size. 5 weeks younger, but she's been pushing both of us around since day one.
All right, so everybody put a score in out of 10. What do you think of his audio in the chat? Just be honest. No need to be mean.
3. Wow.
7. All right.
Is it really that bad? Because when I hear it on the
No.
playback, I sound
No.
awful.
Yeah, generally, I'm more closer to Marie, who's kind of probably the toughest customer in here today. I think your audio needs much to be desired. Some of it is habit. In that Zoom, actually, even though we're all unmuted, we're actually all muted. It mutes you, which is how Zoom cleans up the audio. And then it realizes as soon as you start talking, so you miss the first second. So that's a big thing I have with you, Bart. You talk, number one, you talk really, really fast, and you start talking really fast. There's no warm up. There's no warm up to what you're saying. So the front of it is always clipped up, right? So those mics that you have, by the way, if they're whatever word I can't pronounce, they're extremely directional. Some of them, like these, only pick up from the front if the carotid mode is on. If you have a Blue Yeti, you have to actually be looking at the Blue Yeti logo.
How about right now? Is that better?
Well, you got to talk a little bit. Tell us about
Okay, let's
your morning ritual about pup cups.
my morning ritual every morning at around 7 o'clock. The dogs require a trip to Starbucks, and it's not for the coffee. It is 100% for the pup cup.
All right, so I'm still on the 5 out of 10. It's okay. I don't love it. I've heard you speak in person. You're a very, very strong communicator in person. I think the microphone is not doing you any justice.
I need to upgrade my microphone, number 1. Yes, big
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's go with Marie next. Let's go with Marie.
Well, I'm going to have the same issue as Barton because I'm on an older laptop and I'm sure that it isn't the sound quality that it should be. However, I think my presence overcomes it a little bit because I am making an effort to be clear, to speak a little bit slower because I'm typically rambling a mile a minute. And so I think that little effort compensates a tad. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to criticism.
Okay, so everybody drop a number out of 10 in the chat as to how you feel her audio is. Yeah, I think hers is better than Bart, but his camera is better. His camera setup is way better. So
Yeah.
from that point of view. All right, let's who goes next? Just unmute yourself and start talking.
Nobody wants to talk.
All right, Andrew, we got Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew, tell us about your dogs or your goldfish or your children or something, and let's get cracking.
Unfortunately, my last dog passed away at Christmas, 2 days before Christmas, so it's not a good story at the moment. Unfortunately, he was deaf and half blind. So, but we'd had him a long time, and he was part of the family. As you know,
God.
dogs are for life.
Yeah,
So
they are. They absolutely are.
We've had 2 Newfoundlands, English sheepdog, and Ollie, our last one was a mongrel Alsatian, a border collie. Sorry, we had a border collie before that, but animals are a funny thing with people.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to have 10 chickens. I think I was below the chickens when Wendy was looking after them.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
The children were first, the dogs, the cats, the chickens, and then I came into the picture. So you can imagine how,
One second. Tamiraz has to go, and we didn't hear his audio real quick. Give him
All
10
right.
seconds quickly. Tamiraz, why don't
Yes,
you say
I'm
goodbye?
sorry, I have to go. Just
Yeah.
need to jump out. I don't know how my audio sounds, but I ordered the new camera, which comes
Yeah.
with the new microphone.
Yeah, big
it
echo.
will be
I would say we're giving you a 3 on the audio on that part.
Three?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
it's
Really
not
bad.
great. And any calls that we've had, Laura Louise, said it's excellent, and then gave you a 3. So
No,
Okay.
it's excellent that he's getting new stuff.
oh, I see. I'm like, now at least now you guys know who I live
Okay,
with.
well, thank you for giving me
Yeah,
a
sometimes
three.
I'm a little late and it doesn't go through. Like I was saying,
Yeah.
you were saying earlier, like it takes you 8 minutes to do a 90-second thing. And I'm like, and you say you don't talk a lot, but it kind of looks like I was saying it in a different place. So
Yeah. No, super cool. All right, Tamiraz, excellent work, by the way. And come on Friday, and we're going to definitely go get that. Those lapel microphones, I'm going to drop those in the toolkit as well. The ones that I have, I think they're the best quality I've ever seen. $100 or something like that is really worth it, and you can take them with you on your phone and all that kind of stuff. All right,
Perfect. Thank
let's
you.
hit the next person.
how is my, bye Tamaraz, we'll see you Friday. How is my mic here?
It's okay. I mean, I don't love it. As you see from what Zoom does, the beginning of it is always kind of like weak until it knows, we have a new speaker. You see what I mean?
I'm gonna have a proper mic up here. It should work well.
Well, is it actually, look down at your audio settings, is that microphone selected? Because very often we think we're talking out of a microphone and the camera is turned up. Yeah, I mean?
Brio 101.
Nope, that's the camera's microphone. That's the camera's
Select-
microphone.
No, oh really? So which one is this? Yeti Nano?
That's it, Yeti Nano. So turn that on and then tell us about your dog's birthday.
I wish, is that better?
Oh my God, like 1,000 times. Keep talking. Say more.
Yeah, so I didn't know what this was called because it doesn't say Yeti Nano on this speaker.
But do you
I don't know
notice?
if you guys have this. I have like 100 different things I can choose, and
Yeah.
oh wow.
But do you?
Yeti Nano, what I have?
Laura Louise, but do you notice how Laura Louise, do this experiment. Tell us about Giuseppe's, what he got all for his birthday yesterday, but then move your head around a little bit and move around naturally as you're talking.
Yeah, so Giuseppe, we wrapped up these 2 little golden retriever toys, but one was gray and one was golden color. And so he opened them both. And which one do you think he preferred? He preferred the golden one. Even dogs, like they generate to their own tribe. It's the funniest thing, right?
All right.
Romeo always goes for the white toys because he's white.
So that Yeti Nano is my old microphone. And I had trouble
I always get
with
your
it.
hand-me-downs. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it just didn't work with my setup really well. It's a very good microphone, but it has to face away from you, and you need to be looking at the Yeti Nano logo, and then on the back of it is a button where you can set the different settings. On carotid, carotid basically just picks you straight up and ignores everything else, versus the other setting picks up the surrounding noise. So you've got to experiment with those and find a position where they are. Like these are supposed to be used like this at this kind of distance, and then you can actually turn the gain down and it will really do its job. When it's at this distance, which I have to have it for Laura Louise, it's actually picking up, I've got to increase the gain. That increases the sensitivity, and it now picks up all the surrounding noise. These things are meant to be used at this kind of distance. So
Like
you've got to
more like a
experiment with that.
podcast. It's more
Yeah.
like for a podcast.
Yeah. So those are podcast noise. Let's all right, Bart, go ahead.
Okay, so whoops. Okay, so my microphone is tilted away from me. I'm looking straight at the logo. So So this is on one setting. Now this is on the other setting. As far as the light, there's one to the left and one to the right. So this is where the light is turned on to the right. Now this setting is turned where the light the light to the left is turned on. So is this better?
I do think it's better. It still sounds a little kind of echoey a little bit. So your best friend in all of this is something called perplexity.ai. Go into Perplexity and put in your model number and say, can you help me optimize my audio quality using this microphone? And you put in the model number, all that kind of stuff. It will help you. I became an expert at camera settings yesterday, to the point that I actually had a bun fight with Perplexity about it. So let's hear Bill Broadus real quickly. I'm going to unmute you quickly because microphone is super, super important for you. Tell us a little bit about what's going on over there.
Check. Can you hear me? Okay. Is it coming through? Am I unmuted? Okay. Yeah, just listening to some very good commentary this morning and incredible teaching from Anrik. And so really exciting days over here. So.
All right, everybody give him a score out of 10 for his audio. Typing in the wrong keyboard. Yeah, I think it's a 7.8. I think you got solid audio in that. If I had to make an improvement, it would be nice to get a little kind of more bass or a little bit more depth on it. What microphone do you have?
Let me see here which one I'm using. It's the Yeti stereo mic. I can't see exactly which one it is, but
so the Yeti software has I think it's Yeti that has that. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the Logitech. I don't know. Confused. They have a setting that for like FM stereo or like FM broadcaster mode, which is really nice. Just gives you a little softer, a little kind of smooth, but no complaints there at all. Perfectly valid on that one. Dave Elliott, let's go with Dave.
Well, I'm just using the microphone on the computer. I haven't got anything special set up.
Yeah.
Although I can plug in one of the Rode ones, which I have. So I'm probably about 50 centimeters away from where the mic would be as I sit.
Yeah, I mean,
which
generally,
is just under 2 feet for you people who haven't come up with the trick yet. So
yeah, it's a little. It sounds like an integrated laptop mic and camera, which it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The little Logitech camera for $35 does a marvelous job.
Isn't that what I'm on, Anrik?
Yeah, we've got I got the Hollyland mics here. I'll demonstrate them in a second if you want. Like we've got expensive cameras, and Laura Louise is on a $35 camera because it does a really great trick, which leads me to the next thing is you can have all the great cameras in the world. They cannot undo bad lighting. If you've got bad lighting, if you have a window behind you, it's crap. If you're putting your camera like below you and everyone's looking up your nostrils, it's not gonna help you. You know what I mean? If you're too far away, like mostly Dave is too far away from the camera for us to, number one, engage with him, and number two, gauge his eye contact, all that kind of stuff. I sometimes forget that Dave is here because I'm not. He's out of reach, out of eye zone.
He's a little far away. Bill's a little far away too.
Yeah, but Bill's got those cool screens in the background, so there's like screen porn going on there. Like part of me wants to I'm like every day I'm looking to see if those things are real. Are they actually moving, or are those just like window dressing? I mean, and what is it that he's seeing? I'm like seeing copper prices and London clothes.
I think the distinction should be made though when you're participating in something like this. If you don't have a perfect camera, it's okay. But if you're on a call with someone and you want to engage with them, the closer you are, even when I'm on a one-on-one call with someone, I'm always leaning in. You want to be the majority of the screen. You don't want them focusing on like, oh, what are those books in the background? Or, the ones on the top are falling over a little bit. Like my eye sees everything. I'm like one of those people, I pick up things. And so I'll get distracted by your background. And so you want to make sure that when you're speaking, you're like, if you see the amount of the frame that I have, or Anrik, or Marie, like we're much, or Bart, we're much more in the focal point of the frame, and that can keep people's attention, but it also feels more personal. It feels more, connected, more rapport building. They feel like they're like there, they see your face, they can see when you blink, they can see when you smile, it makes a big difference, I think.
Absolutely. Totally. I have no idea where that audio is going.
Anrik, you're very low right now.
Yeah, because I'm
Oh, there you
playing with audio buttons.
Okay.
So
Stop playing with your audio buttons.
I love these Hollyland mics. They're very, very simple, very straightforward. They plug into any phone, any computer, whatever, and I think you can buy them for like $100. I do believe that the Rode version of that is the next step up and worth the money, because alone of the software that comes with them, in that you can literally be up and running and do a podcast interview in, don't drop it on the ground.
Don't step on it.
Don't step on it, but you can literally be up and running in a matter of seconds, and be running those mics. And I am now on these mobile mics, and they work really, really well, but they work even better with your phone, because you just plug it straight into the phone. Even if you're doing outside videos, they give you the little fluffy little thingies, that you can put on them, but the software that comes with them does really good video and audio, both in one go. I think it's a game changer. It's a really good thing. I got them on Amazon, 140 something bucks. Super nice, really, really nice. And they integrate wirelessly with anything that Rode offers, but they work really great as a standalone. But they're also really good $20 USB microphones that you can get to my regular audio, and you'll see there's not much difference. These guys, because they're going into the switcher, they have more sound reduction and all that kind of stuff. But I think the audio is important. From a camera point of view, the lighting is so important, especially it's so cheap. You can buy from the company Neewer, Neewer, on Amazon. You can buy panel lights, boom, that sit there at 45 and 45. Make one slightly brighter, one slightly darker. Again, under $100, you got really good lighting. You can even get one big panel light right behind your camera, and you're done. You're good as gold. So those are really the kind of components, but there is a massive, if you're doing a lot of this, between sitting and standing. That's a game changer. Sitting down changes your energy. Sitting down changes your voice. And if I had to sit and do this, I'd be dead by now with back problems and issues like that, right? So yeah, sure, my feet get tired. I've got one of those nice bouncy mats that I actually originally I stole from the kitchen until Louise bought me my own. So that kind of softens it. But there is just such an energy transfer switch between somebody who's sitting having a meeting versus with somebody who's standing. And the person who's standing mostly controls the frame, controls the meeting.
I think it changes the energetic flow as well, because whenever we're presenting, we're always in the standing mode. And I think that not only does your voice project more, but energetically you project more, and you have, when there's something about being on your feet, you have this more creative, expressive tone. And I notice it with myself because a lot of times if Anrik's presenting, I'll be either in my office or in my study, and and I'm sitting for that. And it's like, it's not as emotive as standing. So if you have an important meeting, I think that having like a standing desk or, being able to do that from a standing posture, you breathe differently, your diaphragm works differently. So you're getting more oxygen to your brain. And it just is a marked improvement in your outcome, in the way you deliver, in the way you present, in the way you articulate. Everything kind of changes and becomes a little bit more fine-tuned and a little bit better. So if you're not doing that, think about it. Think about having that option to be able to stand and do those kind of things. As I don't know if I've told this group, but I always tell people, like, when I'm working with a client, if I'm just sitting in front of a computer, I find it really hard. And, before the days of being on video calls all the time, I would have my headset on and I would walk around my office so I could just get into my zone of being able to serve at the highest level to them and be able to use all of my creative powers to like get to the best options. I can't tell you how dramatically different it was when I was sitting at the desk. And if I'm in a real conversation, I'll be like, I need to get up and I need to like get into the zone of being able to serve these people and being able to give the best of myself. It is so different. I would say a 50% difference in what I'm able to generate, how creative I'm able to be, problem solving ability, vocabulary, everything changes when I would stand up. And I noticed that well before we ever had a video call, right? So it is so valuable that I can't even, explain it until you start experiencing it yourself. You get into a different place in your mind and you start being able to, be much more powerful and much more creative and have more problem solving ability. It is an amazing thing. I almost want to do a study on it because I can't believe the difference.
So I want to illustrate a couple of different things right now.
Does anybody have a standing desk, by the way? Does anybody have the ability to do their meeting standing up? No? We used to do everything from a standing desk at our old office in Sarasota. And then we built sitting desks for our office, but we also built a studio so we could stand. And there is obviously times that it's better to stand and better to sit, like when you're working on something, but I think when you're speaking to people aloud and you're working, in that format, standing is so much better.
Yeah, so what's a big no-go over here? Can you guys all hear me okay?
Yeah.
You see what a lot of people do, they put their camera like this one right here on top of their monitor. And that shakiness, you see that shakiness that these monitors do? It's really annoying, right? And it can be actually fixed. And keep in mind, I'm now looking at the screen, and isn't it annoying? I'm not making any eye contact with you. I'm kind of looking down, so people keep going, it's like, where is he looking? It's like, is there something on my shirt? But I'm looking at the screen, so that's our natural thing, instead of looking at the camera and making eye contact, right? So there's two ways that you can fix that. Laura Louise, do you have one handy to show them one of those camera poles, or are they all upstairs?
There might be one here.
Yeah. So for like 25 bucks something, you get a camera stand where you can put the camera literally right here, and then you can make eye contact, right? There are cameras now that hang off the top and bring the stick down in front of the camera so you can make eye contact, or you can get a couple of $100, a little teleprompter where you can put your Zoom window in that.
So Henrik,
yeah.
You would essentially put the camera on the stand in center monitor?
Center of the monitor or slightly to the left, wherever it is that you're looking, so that you can actually have a meeting and not be staring down, looking as if you're staring at somebody's boobs as when they're talking. You know what I mean? Which has happened from time to time. I have to admit that. You know what I mean?
Because see, my camera is actually even though it's on top of my 32, It's actually eye level. It's
Yeah.
actually eye level. So,
All right. So,
and
so
I'm
that's,
looking down. I'm looking at you right now. Can you tell I'm looking down?
wait, I gotta spotlight you and get in there. One
Yeah, I think
second.
I always try to put my screens up because mine hangs over the top a little bit in the study.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In my office, I have two screens in my office, so I have it at eye level between the two screens. So if I'm working on different stuff, I can go back and forth between the two screens and, you know, have it in the middle where most of the time I'm looking out. But right now, I mean, if I'm looking at Bart right now. Can
So
you
I'm
tell?
looking at my screen. I'm not looking directly at the camera. I'm looking at my screen. Now I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my screen right now too.
See, I
Does
don't actually don't see him. Oh, he must not have you highlighted. Let me do a gallery.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the screen. And now I'm
See,
looking.
I can't tell the difference. See, it looks very.
But because I always move everything up to right under my camera, I'm constantly moving whoever I'm talking to up so that I'm looking as close as possible. You know, there's nothing perfect. And also when when you're presenting, like you're never just looking at one person, you're kind of in your, even when I present in front of people, I'm never like staring at them, you know. So I think, you know, you try to be as natural as possible, but you try to create an environment where you can be as natural as possible and keep that engagement.
Yeah, see, I always look at the camera when I'm speaking. As long as I'm not reading something, I'm always looking directly at the camera, like I am right now.
Mhm.
And I just froze.
You're not frozen.
Oh, maybe it just froze on my end because
yeah.
So okay, good deal.
So
Thank you.
the other point is a sore point because, hang on, I got to. Friends don't let friends use virtual backgrounds.
Except I always do. Because we're not friends. And you're, well, I mean, I like it because it's our brand. And so it stays on brand. And then if we're working together, or we have our things next to each other, sometimes we'll go side by side and then we have the same background. So I like that. You know, I think it depends on what you're doing. If you're having like a one-on-one meeting, you know, then people like to see that you're in just a more relaxed setting. I think it depends. If you're doing an event, you want your background. You know, I think that makes a big difference. So
that panel looks very familiar, Rick.
Yeah, so that's my panel. This is a side view camera. This is actually a 4K camera that has motion tracking in it. I just find the software that comes with it is like awful. So I have not kind of allowed it in there. But it's a, you know, it's a pretty good camera. You get really, really good cameras these days for very, very little money, right? But they cannot help you with lighting. Okay.
yeah.
Let me.
And I would say also be conscious. One of the things Anrik and I always see is that like people, even on television, they're like talking like this and like you see their neck more than you see their face. And we're always like, oh my gosh, why are we looking at that guy's neck? Like it's the angle of the camera is really important to make sure that you're, you know, you could see the person's face and you're not like have a focal point that's on their neck or super close on their nose or up their nose. That's the worst. But there's a lot of neck action. We were noticing that yesterday. We analyzed these things. This is what we talk about over dinner. Like, look at that guy. You can really see his neck. It's not looking good.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Right.
So this is a dead straight normal Logitech Brio camera, right, with my exact green screen behind it. But if I take the green screen away, it actually serves as a very, very good camera. Let me show you.
Yeah. That's the camera I just bought, the one that you're using right now. That is amazing camera.
Yeah,
So
I think it's.
camera is that? Is that the one I have up here, Anrik?
No, I don't know which one Bart has.
It's like the 215. It's the brand new 4K Brio 2.5 or something like that. It has a couple digits after it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that. And it actually comes with Logitech G Hub, okay? And the Logitech G Hub is actually a very good piece of software to control all of your Logitech devices. So if you have a Logitech microphone and a Logitech camera, you can control it all in there. I'm trying to see where that software is.
Are you on the same Logitech as I'm on?
No, I am on a Logitech. No idea. There's so many around here. No idea. But I found that the best results I got from you was with that Logitech $35 camera. Gave you the best results because it brings you. You see how far away I am, whereas yours actually makes you the subject of the call.
So is that the Brio?
Yeah, Brio. Yeah. And then obviously as you choose backgrounds, they don't work properly unless you got a green screen. Voila. See what I mean? So you can actually create a pretty decent virtual setup, but you need good lights. If you don't have good lights, you're just fighting the system the whole time. And you'll see the difference in Laura Louise's setup between when she doesn't have the lights and she does have the lights. So let me grab Andrew real quickly, because Andrew and Marie have the biggest problems with camera setup because of the lighting on that, right? So Marie actually has a very nice background, which if it was me, I would just leave it open and just have a regular background. I wouldn't naturally obscure it or anything like that. Zoom has good settings, both in terms of low light button and the portrait lighting buttons that will actually help you tremendously on that. And you see the difference already between Andrew 10 minutes ago and Andrew now. He's now got the light coming from the side. So what have you done that's different, Andrew?
I have a strong headlight above me behind the camera, which highlights me, as what you were saying. You couldn't see me. Yeah. I'm still working off the camera on the computer, but the reason for the headset is we have external noises, so you probably didn't hear the pheasant demanding some feed outside of my window. I had to actually go and tell Wendy, to go and have a few words with the pheasant, to move, period. There's now a tractor outside, so doing hay. So unfortunately, that's why I'm using the headset, because we have the external influences. So I've just got used to it. So
and you're running on a Windows computer, right? Are you operating on Windows computer?
Dell, yeah.
Dell, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that $35 little camera, I think, is worth its weight in gold, because you can actually position it. If you're starting to do a lot of Zoom calls, you can literally put it right in front of your screen so that you're making eye contact and you're connecting with the people. It makes such a big difference than everybody else who's talking to you like this, and they're like, yeah, I believe you. I trust you. Trust in me. Yes. Oh, yeah, I know. But dude can't even look me in the eye. You see what I mean? And that makes a big difference versus direct contact, right? So Elgato sell a little teleprompter that's actually made out of plastic that is a separate screen. It's a really nice piece of kit because it's very uncomplicated. Certainly in the Mac environment, you plug the thing in and it just works. There is no setting it. And what I do with that is that I will grab let me switch to a different camera. Okay, let me grab a iPhone camera real quickly. Which
camera are you on now, Anrik?
I am right now on the Brio camera with a fake background, right?
Okay, just go back to your new camera.
Okie dokie. I always do as I'm told. The thing is, you got to then turn off your background, and then you got to turn the camera back on. And now we're going to switch to the Rodecaster video camera, and we're going to turn off all this portrait lighting and adjust for low light because I don't need it. I have it in a straight up camera. But if you have, for those of you that have an iPhone, you can, and your iPhone is on the same network, it will recognize your iPhone, and you can literally just cut right across into it. Mine,
just before,
dead as a doornail. I can't switch anyway. It was as dead as a doornail. I don't know whether I didn't plug it in or something. I sound like one of our teenage kids.
Anrik, I just want to go back to Marie
Yes.
because
Yes.
one of the things that I'm noticing and that will continually be a challenge for you is having natural light behind you because the camera is going to pick up the natural light and dull your face. So if you look at my face right now, I hardly have any light on, but I have natural light in front of me. So natural light's coming in through my window and it gives the best light. If you turn around and allow yourself to have the natural light, you might need a little bit of, I have like one light here that has very low light on it just to balance out the light for the screen more than for me. It changes the game in terms of how your face, the shadows, you won't have shadows on your face. You have the natural light there. I'd say use that to your advantage and figure out how to turn things around so that when you're on, you're getting the natural light. Because the natural light, there's nothing that'll make you look more beautiful than the natural light, truly.
So turn the camera the opposite of what I have,
Yeah.
so the light
Yes.
behind me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, so that your face is facing the natural light, not being away from the natural light. Because
Okay.
right now, the natural light kind of overshadows you, in the background, and it makes your face have shadows on it. So it's not actually kind to our faces when we do that because it creates all these shadows and it makes us look like we have, craters in places that we don't. And I know from just being on camera myself that the difference in changing the lighting from one angle to the other is a game changer. So you'll see a dramatic difference.
I can see all my sticky nose. Does that make it feels darker now all of a sudden?
Yeah, but you
Well,
see, you
you're-
have so many.
You have a lot of light in
lights
there, yeah.
behind you.
I know
yeah,
there's a lot of windows in here.
Yeah.
I do appreciate this conversation because I have been told many times, I have this little laptop but I have a television screen that I use as a monitor. So I'm looking at everyone, but I look like I'm looking up. So I'm not looking at people. They don't see me looking at them. And I have had a lot of comments about that. So I appreciate this.
Yeah. So what I would really do, Marie, I would buy that $35 camera that Laura Louise has because now
Yeah.
that's mobile, and then you put it on the little pole, which you can raise the height of, and you can literally position it right in front and just kind of to the side or just above, but within a zone of your gallery of the people that you're looking at. So now
Right.
you've got good contact. Then you grab the little lapel microphones, right? Hollyland or the Rode or whichever ones, and you're set, because the reason why I love the Rode ones is if you need to take the show on the road, you got your phone, got your little microphones, and we're done. You got a mobile office in your pocket, and you're set. Then when you come back in, you just the little dongle that goes with the Rode microphones, you plug back into your computer, into the USB slot, and you're good. You're good to go. Then you've got good audio, good sound. I'm just looking in my Amazon cart of previous purchases, and that is very embarrassing, of the amount of equipment and stuff that
You have the Rode, yeah. But Bart has it, the Rode.
Yeah,
I've not tried it yet. I've not tried it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
It's great when Anrik and I aren't in the same studio, like when we're upstairs in our office. And I guess our desks are like 30 feet apart, and we'll both be talking on the same mic so that we're not canceling each other out. It's very hard to, be on a mic. So, or if we're traveling, we were just talking about that for some travel when we're doing some things, trying to work out, I can bring my camera and my laptop, turn off the volume on mine. We both go onto those Rodes, mics, and we can interact without stepping on each other.
Yeah, so I'm just going to get you a link here, by the way. Let me know if that works by clicking on it. You can literally get this light, including the stand and the whole thing, for $80 today. Just open that link, make sure it opens. That is a newer, not newer, but the brand newer, 15.5-inch streaming light, which is a piece of genius because it's very unobtrusive. It doesn't have all sorts of shit on it. And on top, you can it has a dial for the brightness, and it has a dial to go white or to go yellow, go warmer.
This is what I have on in my office, on my desk in my office, right?
Yeah, and it works really, really well. So what you do is you put that light behind your camera so that it's shining at you, and it will compensate for those windows in the background, Marie, if you don't want to change your setup. You can
Okay.
even put it at the bottom of your TV screen and let it run up that way, or
Okay.
clamp it on the top and come down at you a little bit and experiment with a little bit. The perfect setup is to have two of those. Like if you were to actually build a little baby studio, you have two of those, both at 45 degrees, and you've got really good lighting. And then you can make one of them brighter, one of them dimmer, to create a bit of differentiation in your face, which is always nice. But those things, they're like $93 in gray, and today you can get a $20 coupon, and they're like $80 a piece. I think they're excellent, really, really good lights.
What was the name of the camera again, Laura Louise?
The Brio,
I'll get you a link. Don't worry.
it's the Logitech Brio, I think 101, but
We've
Anrik
only-
will get you a link for it.
We've only bought like 100 Brio things. Yeah, literally, I've bought this camera like so many times because it's so good. It's perfect for a laptop and close proximity, because it makes you the subject.
Great
of
to
it.
travel with too. I mean, I'm going to travel when we travel this summer. I'll travel with this, and probably won't bring a mic. We'll bring the little mics, the little
Yeah.
Rhodes mics.
So this is the stand that I was talking about that will actually help all of you guys. This stand really works nicely. Then the little Logitech Brio 101. Yeah. I even bought it in white the other day. That is
I want the white
101 is
one.
what I'm using right now. This is the camera I'm
Yeah.
using. That $39 camera. So-
Yeah, $39. On Amazon Prime Day, they were like 24, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take 3 of those. They really are good. I mean, they're excellent. Just like no complaint about that. Somehow it handles the light really well. Versus I have the much more expensive version down here. I don't think it does nearly as good a job, but I need the wider field of view for the studio, which is why I've got it down here. So those are my suggestions. Let me give you the microphone links. I have upstairs. I have a very good $20 little tripod mic that works just fine. You just got to experiment with it. Last purchased. There we go.
What's up?
Copy link.
What's up?
These are the Rode microphones.
Bill, that stand would be really good for your office if you wanted to get a closer shot of yourself. Because I know how many computers, how many monitors he has set up.
Excuse me. Yeah.
All right, we're about to lose Dave Elliott.
Mm.
All right, Dave, what's your plan? How are we going to fix your setup there?
This one, wow, I mean, it's approaching dusk, and I'm sat here with no lights on, so
Yep.
I would turn. Well, there's normally a light behind the screen, but it seems to have run away. So
Somebody took it.
someone took it. Probably its prime owner took it. So
Primary owner took it. Yeah.
it will have been put in a safe place, to which I will not be informed as to what it is, although I will have to go and help find it when it needs to be removed from said place to engage once more in its primary
Oh,
activity.
Very
So
funny. Very funny. Very funny. Yeah. So my quick suggestion on that is see if you can get your camera higher and closer. And as audio, obviously the Apple headphones work super great, or one of these like little lapel microphones. But given the amount of outdoor videos that you do, this Rode setup is the last link that I just put in there. That's $130, right? And they are outstanding.
we have Rode microphones at home. So,
Yeah.
we do use them for.
Oh, you do them for those videos?
No, generally not for mostly for the videos. I'll just do it with the headphones plugged in,
Yeah.
and the just the Apple.
Yeah. So what's lovely about these, by the way, the app on the, let me see if this phone is charged enough yet. And I have no idea why it ran out of juice like that. Oh yeah, probably because I had record button on and forgot to turn it off. But there is a piece of kit that the Rode microphones come with. Are you on iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
iPhone. So there is a version of it. Let me see if we can. These things, they normally do screen sharing. iPhone mirroring. Connect to iPhone. iPhone in use. Okay, I can. Oh yeah, because the iPhone is currently in use. Yeah, this is supposed to be super easy, but so the Rode Capture, it's called Rode Capture, is an app that comes that you can get. I know we are way over time. I get it. I know. But the Rode Capture thing will help you tremendously with your social media videos because you can quickly interview people. I showed it to Bart the other day.
Yeah.
Where you can do dual cams and it will split the page into, let me see if you can see it on here. You see how it splits the page, right? One front camera, one back camera. So you can do an interview instantaneously. You can hit picture-in-picture mode, at which point it puts you down there, puts what you're seeing back there. So you can do a nice video like that, turn it sideways to do a real estate demo and record really good video and still be the subject of the video. And the microphones that go together with that are very, very good. Like really, really good, very impressive. So let's see if it allows me to do that this time. Yeah, the audio quality is outstanding. Connecting to iPhone 16. Yeah, this is getting too hard and we're out of time. Okay, any last technology questions, issues, all that kind of stuff? I'm here to help you, but you gotta ask so I can go deeper with you. But if you guys are good, then we'll let it go here and call it quits today.
I would say Friday, though, why don't you come with some of the revamped LinkedIn profiles so that we could at least take a look at them and go through them with you and get them to a place where you're feeling pretty good about it. I would write your about sections. That probably takes the longest time, but start to get into that creative flow of how you want to be seen, how you want your right fit client to call you out, what kind of trusted advisor you want to be referred to, what you think is going to resonate with your right fit client. Like all of these things have to go into this. It's worth taking the time, just like the authentic character flywheel. It's worth putting the time in. You can do all this stuff. And I find that, people they'll put together these marketing decks, they'll do all this stuff and they'll make 100 phone calls, but they won't do the stuff that actually changes the way that you're seen by the world, and that's what branding is. And you are your own brand. And if you don't spend the time to do this, you miss out on, that the juice of marketing, the ability to magnetically pull your right fit client to you. This is like one of the most important things we do. And I know that people never go back to make sure that they've written out their right fit client or what their tagline is going to be or what their authentic character flywheel is or what their big why is. Like it's like, building a building. Your foundation is everything. In doing the architectural plans before you build the building is so important. And so many people just go and they build the building and you'd never do that in any other area of your life, but we do that all the time. So take the time to review some of the things that we've done and figure out, even if you don't get it perfect, even if it's not built, at least decide what you are building. So that then we can help you more. I mean, we want you to come on Fridays and we want to be exhausted by you. And you're not there yet. We're not exhausted by you yet. So, we have a lot of energy to give and you're not using it. So
As
I'm
Captain
telling you,
America
use us.
says, I can do this all day.
Poor Louise, I was on a date last week and the guy told me I was exhausting.
Well, he's not the right guy for you, clearly.
That's right, RFG.
That's right.
Right fit guy, right fit guy.
Not the right fit guy, yeah.
That's never happened to me. I'm like, all right.
That's okay. I mean, the more unique and authentic you are and you align with your true self, the harder it is going to be to find the perfect. But if you have your dot and you know what you're looking for, it's a lot easier to identify them and not be like frustrated as heck because you settle for something that's less than, what you deserve or what you're made for. So
And
that's
for what it's worth, Laura Louise is absolutely exhausting. Like,
probably true.
seriously.
And that's why I love her.
I'm sure my wife would agree that I'm exhausting sometimes as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but that suit, like your right fit client, they're suited to that. They need that elevation. They need to be challenged, I need that. Like Anrik challenges me every day and it is exhausting sometimes, but like if it was anything less, I wouldn't be interested. So
Right.
Okay. All right. Good. I hope you found today's useful. I try to get you a week of study in one day. The big takeaway from it is think of LinkedIn as a personal branding and a personal landing page. Let's get it built in a hurry because people are Googling you, people are looking you up, people are going to come and look at it. We might as well go show them your good side, right? And we can get this done pretty quickly. And obviously understanding how your funnel works really helps you because that is what's going to drive featured post 1, featured post 2. And let's get it done, guys. I'm going to be here on Friday to help you. And I look forward to seeing you guys then. In the meantime, I will get onto the recordings and stuff. Thank you, Bart, for the reminder. Catch you guys later. Arrivederci. Ciao, ciao.
I just need that 5 minutes that we spent together. See y'all next week. Or no, Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
Okay. All right.
Friday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Friday, guys. Have a good one.
You can do what you want, just seize the day. What you do tomorrow's going